sippin', I'm 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 sippin'.
Sippin', I'm 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 sippin'.
This is Sippin' with Sammie. I am Sippin' with Sammie, Sam Malone, Barstool, Rug. If you ain't sippin' with Sammie, you ain't sippin' right. Please get your fucking life together.
Yes.
And I got Saf with me.
Yo, I'm in the building.
And today is a special day. If you watched the prior crypto episode, I kind of alluded to the fact that we was going to have this episode coming up very shortly. And if you caught that episode, then you've already met my guy, Real Estate Ray. Mm-hmm. And you heard us make mention of having Real Estate Traci on.
Yes.
So with you, Traci?
Life is good, man.
I know. I know all about it. So, clearly we have you here for a purpose, but just to give a little background about why your name is Real Estate Traci. How did this come about? Were you a lad?
Oh my goodness. So I guess just some small background for those that don't know me. I've been in real estate all my life, basically. My family's been in real estate close to 40 years. I actually was in school for engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And went through engineering programs and then started clicking and making some sense and
Stop swimming.
Just literally went right into real estate. Like, what am I doing here? Why am I dealing with corporate structures and microaggressions when I can just do my own thing, make good money? And I mean, my father was always painting the pathway, even since I was young, like, oh, it's raining, I'm not going to work today. Like, what does that mean? Like, and you don't realize those kind of stuff till you get older, and you like, my dad never went to work when it rained. What is that? What am I doing wrong? Like, why am I? So, because of that, I've been licensed and doing all things real estate for like going on 20 years now.
Dope.
At this point.
Dope.
So,
Yes, congratulations on that.
right.
Like, you are a gem.
thank
I
you.
mean, we
Thank you.
talking
You're an
about
amazing gem.
her father. Similar story about Saf's lineage. We talking about black men at a time where motherfuckers wasn't doing that shit at that level. Like, and they taught their daughters. You know what I mean? They taught their daughters, and I think that that's a dope thing because we always get the father son come to work with me type of image, and mom always takes the daughter to bring your kid to work day or whatever have you. But like your fathers was like, you got the capacity to do this shit. Somebody got to do something with this shit, and it might be you. You know what I mean? I think that was ill. But Ray, your background in real estate, please.
My background in real estate. Well, I spoke about this in the last podcast, but for me, how did I get started, or what was my understanding of it when I was younger?
Both.
That's two different things. So, just real quick, my understanding of it when I was younger was, my uncle, he came from down south and he bought a lot of property around one neighborhood. So properties were about 20, 30, 40,000 at the time. Now those same properties are $300 plus $1,000. So he basically was housing, our whole family in these properties. And I never understood it. It was like my grandma's house was a halfway house. Somebody get locked up, they come, that's the house that everybody go to. That's the house that was jumping. And I never really.
We all got one of those.
Yeah, I think everybody got.
When you said that, I was listen here.
We all got one of them, man.
So I never understood it when I was younger, but then I asked my uncle as I got older. I probably was like, early 20s. I was like, what made you just buy all these properties? Down south is a whole lot different. They always say, look, take care of your family first, buy land. I wasn't getting that coming up. So first thing I thought is, look, I got to get some property. And then kind of tap into, recently, I would say probably this is maybe like 5, 6 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago. It was a property that I basically wanted to buy. I reached out to the realtor. I was like, look, I want to get this property like ASAP. I need to go see it. She's like, oh, well, yeah, we could go see it in a couple of days. A couple of days later, it was gone. It would have been a good amount of money for me, and I was upset. So I figured out, like I said, what can I do? Got my real estate license because I wanted to cut out the middleman. So that's just basically, from the beginning to I ain't gonna say the end to where I'm at right now because I'm far
Absolutely.
from where I'm gonna be.
No,
now that I got
man.
her next to me too, you know what I mean? I'm about to get all the game.
Nah, but that's part of why I love having these platforms. You can bring the food on if you want. Traci starving.
Yes.
Why I love having this. Shout out to K Fine Productions. Fine Productions. PHANTPHILLY on Instagram.
Shout out to Kay.
Get your business right with K. But I think that it's important that we hear these things because you're talking about both ends of the spectrum. We go from somebody that was raised in real estate one way, somebody that had an idea about it through somebody around them, close to
Exposure.
him, but was able to go to them for that conversation. And once he had the conversation, he had enough drive to say, you know what, I need to have a bigger conversation with myself to make sure that I don't have these mishaps
Right.
and missed opportunities. You know what I mean? Because it's hard when it ain't your fault. It hurt when it ain't on you. You know what I mean? That's one thing that I tell people all the time. Like, when we trying to figure stuff out, if every time it falls through, it's on you, like, let it be my fault next time.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just let one of these times, let it have been I didn't make it on time or something. You know what I mean? Because it shouldn't always be one-sided, and it's a horrible feeling because
Right.
you don't know what we missing out time-wise, conversation-wise, when we have to shrink things into the allotted time. You know what I mean? That winds up being shorter.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, Saf?
Well, it's a lot that I want to dig into. I mean, it's a lot. We already kind of talked about legacy. That was something I really wanted to kind of dig into. But beyond that, off camera, we started talking about some things.
There's food for everybody, by the way.
Absolutely, I'm gonna dig in a second. I want to kind of
Money for the time being.
but I want to get what's kind of a hot topic right now is and I don't even know what the industry, you guys might know better, but like Airbnb or as subleasing, and I don't even want to say subleasing, but that's another pocket of it because people are using it in different ways, right? But there's new legislation that's coming out about it, and I saw one of my friends, once I saw the legislation, y'all can talk about it, but I saw one of my friends say he was selling his Airbnb, and I figured it was because he didn't want to be a part of the new legislation. What's your opinions, or let's talk about the legislation, and what's your opinions on it?
Yeah, what is the legislation?
So, the legislation that just came down says April 1st, 2022, anybody who's operating in the Airbnb business now is subjected to the new limited lodging rule. Limited lodging, in the rule, there's two parts to the rule. The first rule is if you're owner occupying or you own the property and you're renting it out using limited lodging, because we always talk about Airbnb, but there's like 20 other
I was about to say that. Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely.
Guessy, Scoob, VRBO.
BO, that's what I was thinking of.
It's
yeah.
a bunch of stuff. So they just covered everything, but calling it limited lodging. So in that space, if you owner occupy it or you own the building, you just need to get a limited lodging license. Part of the conversation with that most people don't realize, and just stepping back a little bit just to discuss Airbnb, either you rented full for 6 months to 12 months, or you stayed at a motel or a hotel. There is legal rules and insurances for each of those different types of housing.
Absolutely.
Airbnb swiggled in the middle of all of that.
Absolutely.
Well, Uber, never mind. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
They all did that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they saw a deficiency in the market.
And availability of the
opportunity,
product
yeah.
before the market could catch up to it.
Absolutely.
So everybody was getting away with the loophole. It caught like wildfire. And unfortunately, the people who have already been in the steady portion of the business now looking around like, we're losing business because people are going to these loophole spaces, and I've been paying money to the city. I have insurances that are
Extended
responsible.
stay hotels took a hit. I know they did.
Extended stay, all of that stuff that still operates. So in Philadelphia, the change was we have to make a space where there is some sort of licensure that requires the owner or whoever's doing the Airbnb to be subjected to hoteling rules. But here's why that's important.
from a law standpoint, if you occupy someone's space, you are taking possession of it. If you don't leave, do we evict you?
Right.
If you an Airbnb, but you don't have a lease,
Right.
Right.
you
You physically took control of it, but you didn't legally take it by contract.
So now the problem is, from a hoteling standpoint with the law, they have to protect the owners too. Because if somebody comes in a Airbnb contract and they just never go home, I have to have a legal way to get
I
them out.
never even thought about somebody not leaving Airbnb.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God. Y'all have no idea some of the horror stories where people
I'm about
are
to
like,
say the market is crazy.
I'm sure it is, but I just never
never
thought
thought
of
about
somebody
that
just not
either.
leaving the
And
Airbnb.
I've been in Airbnbs when I'm like, these people is way too comfortable with their stuff. You know what I mean? Like they just leave everything out, everything there, and we wasn't there to do nothing malicious, but it's just like
But you're you and somebody else is not.
Exactly.
and that's the legal part that they have to protect people from. Not only the owner, but also the person who's there. The person who's there also has to have insurance options, cleaning options, if there's bed bugs, if there's different things, all kinds of stuff. If you just thinking, I'm here for a short stay, certain things should be taken care of.
This is true.
That's included in the taxes, and they included into it too. Like you got to now pay a hotel tax, you got to now pay all this stuff. But a lot of that has to do with a lot of the insurances, the legal rights,
And it's just
and all.
tightening up the market.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because they did the same thing with people that own duplexes.
was unregulated, basically.
And rent it out if you wanted to rent out property. That's why a lot of dudes that was buying a lot of properties, they made their girl go to school for real estate so that they could legally still rent these properties out. We remember that time period. It wasn't that long ago. Everybody chick was in real estate. Everybody had 6-8 week program going on.
Program.
Listen,
Oh, it is what it is.
it is.
It is what it
That was
is.
a little longer
The
than that.
other portion of it,
I mean,
which is
it
where our
wasn't too long
folks
ago.
is getting hit with some of this new LLC entrepreneurship conversation, is people are doing what's called Airbnb arbitrage. They're doing corporate leasing, and they're doing booking stuff where I rent out a high-end apartment. I'm subjected to pay the rent,
That's what I was talking about earlier.
but I'm an Airbnb
Yes.
to make up the money as well as to get transient people.
Well,
Absolutely.
I saw a guy recently in an interview. He said they had said he owned 100 Airbnbs. He said I don't. He said I own 50. I control 120. A majority of them which is in Atlanta, actually, because the market out there was open for it. But he said his twist was he did themes.
Yeah.
So he was like, he makes quadruple what the regular person would make because people are renting these spaces for dates, video shoots, just random stuff because it's an all pink apartment or it's all
content.
gold and it's that
Absolutely.
and that. And he has the agreement with the owners that, first of all, give y'all a little extra. We're going to figure out how to get this back regular, but
Right.
it's worth it to him. So for somebody like him, and this is a black man, he doesn't have a problem with going through the procedure and getting all of that done because we 120 in, and that's a lot to give up if you getting quadruple.
And this
But
is
if you're the
why-
regular person doing it, you're not getting that extra.
This is also why, but even from a regular person, if you're doing any kind of corporate leasing or Airbnb arbitrage or anything
I
else,
want to say some. That's not even.
you should be clearing $10K a month.
And they do.
And if you're not, this
ain't
is a
doing right.
hobby.
Yeah.
It's not a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you paying $7K a year for your booking license to continue operating as
It's
a
like
business
at that point,
is technically a write-off.
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
So everybody's worrying about the wrong things.
But
those-
everybody doesn't have the same understanding.
I understand that.
That's why I wanted you to start with what
But
it
that's
was.
why they need to be tuning in and
Because I
getting
knew
these
you
gems.
wasn't going to
Messing
say
up
a
the
bunch of
market.
technical
They
jargon.
making it bad for other people because they coming in, messing up these apartment buildings and all that good stuff, and then they're like, you know what? We're done with it. We're not doing this anymore at this complex.
Yep.
And then that's what's eventually going to happen. So is kind of good what they're doing, you know. But
I think it's balancing out the situation.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah,
I understand
It has
the
to.
corporate entity being where we always get pushed out at.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like there was a lot of space for a lot of Judge Judy situations to happen.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Like a lot of space for that.
He said Judge Judy.
Cause you know it's like
that's
it's
funny.
stuff that people don't
Good
really
one.
care about
Right.
until they, you know what I
Until
mean?
it's a thing.
Like
Until it's a
it's
thing.
different because well that's you chose the rich shit. You know that's how it's
right.
looked at, but that's not fair
No.
because it's an investment like anything else.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's people who are doing it full out, like like even with Uber, like people. There's Uber has a standard, and some people riding around and they hoopties picking people up, and they
Right.
probably shouldn't. The
Right.
car shouldn't even be on the line.
Oh, I seen this
Right.
blacked out Crown Vic, bro. I'm telling you, he opened the door, the light came on. I still couldn't see that truck.
Damn.
I'm like, who gets in your
5%.
Uber, bro? Like, what does it say on the screen? Do it tell people that this is what's about to pull up?
That's
Like,
crazy.
you pull up looking like the broken Secret Service in the world,
Not the broke secure
and I'm supposed to get out at the club.
And I'll be real, like there's a market for everything.
Yeah, that's all I'm about to
No,
say.
it's
Yeah,
probably
a market.
somebody that's like, "Where's my Vic ball at?"
Yeah, right. Where my driver at? Like,
Right.
that's my guy.
But you know who he is. He get all the late night
Yes.
pick the dancers up from the club
Yes.
tabs. You get paid
And they
triple.
feel safe.
Right. Can't see nothing.
And they feel safe.
Listen, I'm here for it all.
Not they feel
But
safe.
as far as and either one of you guys can answer this. I know markets fluctuate and all of that. As far as the time that y'all have been in it, what has been the most noticeable change about the industry itself? Like, even if you want to talk about from a minority standpoint, I don't know.
Oh, like that?
You know what I mean? What are y'all seeing in these rooms? What's changing? Tracy is frustrated.
Yeah, I got so many things
sermon.
going through my head.
That's a whole sermon. Like,
Yeah.
we are in the middle of the biggest transfer of wealth that we have ever seen.
Yeah.
And not only our generation, but our parents' generation. And a lot of
I've been
us,
saying that, but
It's-
not that way. You said it better than me.
but it's the truth.
I say it
Because
longer.
right now, we have more access to capital. We have more access to resources,
Information.
information,
I always say that.
Information.
which
Yes.
is the biggest
Resource and access is the biggest thing. I always
what she
say
says
that.
all
I
the
say
time.
it all the time.
It's the truth, though, because information, of course, we know changes situations, but it's understanding the A to C of it. And if you just missing B, you have a whole line. Like you can connect things. From a real estate perspective, I've seen a lot of families give up wealth, not understanding what's coming and what's happening in this city. But I've seen them make out well, selling stuff off and doing different stuff.
Let me ask you this. So something that I saw, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, right before COVID. I want to say you were at the meeting when the city had, when they put out like the plan, the city like strategic plan like till 2035, I think it was.
2035.
How important is that?
So that's like a whole class by itself. But at the middle one, I will just tell
And understand, not to cut you off, but and understanding when you said people selling certain things, like seeing the vision.
Oh no,
That's what-
I'm fully with you.
Yeah, that's what it said.
So, and this is true for every city. Every city has a city planning commission that's responsible for planning.
I'm talking to Bug about
every-
Chester right now.
Listen, all of that
I've been
stuff.
talking.
Philadelphia has the 2035
Bug.
plan. Every new construction that they are putting into the city is mapped out until 2035. We're not even done yet. Everything that's happened, Kensington, is in the plan. Germantown is in the plan. So if you live in these areas or building in these areas or buying stuff in these areas,
Make
you
a
should
decision
know the
based
plan.
on the plan.
You
Right.
should know exactly
You
what's
should know
going
the
on.
plan. Or at least look at it at some point.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
and know your
consult-
next plan too, because if and
consult
know your
with-
next move.
It's hard to say what kind of people to consult with because
I know.
I'm in a blessed position.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that do certain things
Yeah.
that I can really have real phone calls with that's not trying to come up off of me.
Right.
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 You know what I mean? But if
So-
possible, take the pride out of it and try to do your due diligence.
Something I talk to people about too when it comes to like vetting some of your gurus and your professionals.
Thank you for getting to that.
That's kind of why I said it
I
the
know.
way I said
That's
it.
why I was like,
It's weird,
I'm,
man.
I got it.
I appreciate it.
She took it.
make sure that these people have what they say they have.
Yeah.
Make sure that these receipts are real. Make sure that they actively are doing what you're asking them to help you with. If they trying to help you get investment properties, they should own some. You should be able to Google it, do some research. Public record is available to everybody. Everybody may or may not give you their full LLCs and different stuff. But if you pay for a class, if you spending $2,500 for a class or something, you should be able to ask your mentor, like, okay, so
Absolutely.
what LLCs do you use to buy property?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because a lot of people
I believe
are
that.
just like YouTube, looking at YouTube, getting information, and they good talkers.
No.
They're not doing it.
Even
they
off
be
just
regurgitating
Instagram,
the
just
information.
ridiculous.
Like a lot of, so yeah, you definitely do have to, vet people. One thing I wanted to say is, to your question, what I'm seeing a lot right now is these wholesalers messing up the game. Like, really, really messing up the game, not understanding and knowing their numbers, tying up properties.
Knowing their numbers.
Like, oh my gosh, it's you're charging $30,000 more than you should on this, bro. And here's all the information you need. Like clearly you don't know what you're doing. So that's what really gets me, because like I got my license to invest in property. Yes, I will help people. I love doing the buying and selling properties for people, but I mainly got into it for investment purposes. And I
Which
talked
is
to a
perfectly
lot
fine.
of and I talked to a lot of these guys that are wholesaler gurus, and they're doing it
They trapping.
wrong. Yeah.
They're not investing, they trapping. It's kind of like
terrible,
it's like the music industry, and people complain about how so many people get into the game that seem not to care about the game.
Exactly.
And it's because it became a lick.
Right.
So anything that opens up to where if I got a couple dollars or some information in a plug, you see what I'm saying? That I could take advantage of that for a limited amount of time because I'm only thinking day to day anyway. You see what I'm saying? Then it becomes a market. Every market is susceptible to being a lick at some point.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a lick, but it's also a lick at the top level.
Oh, yeah.
These motherfuckers is just running it up, pumping dumps and whatever have you. You know what I mean? Like they doing what they do.
It's transactional from jump. And the biggest peddling of money right now is information. If I can tell you something that you didn't know and make you pay for it, now I've got a business.
Right.
And I've got a viable conversation.
Right.
And don't get us wrong. It's people giving great
Oh, yeah,
information.
absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie. I spent a few thousand on getting information from people, and paying for mentors and things of that nature. And I mean, it just really expanded my business as a whole. But I vetted them out. It took me 2 years. It took me 3 years before I said I'm going to invest in you, because I want to know what you're doing. I want to see the receipts. Like, you can't just tell me you're doing something and I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, here go 1,000, bro. Like, show me everything you're doing. I'm not doing that, So
But a lot of people do though.
Yeah.
I know,
And it's a lot of get rich quick
But
scams and stuff.
Even
It is.
when I was talking about, and I mentioned this on the crypto pod too, but neither one of you ladies was there. When it was talking about squad investing in something together,
Absolutely.
well, the first thing that I said was we have people that are professionals in the squad that do certain things.
I do that.
Let's put them at the head of it. Let's delegate whoever makes sense to follow, and let's invest in each other and trust each other, but not based on the fact that that's the homie.
Right.
Based on the fact that this motherfucker is
Right.
what he do.
Right.
accountants,
Like-
people in tech, real estate,
Right.
business management.
Right.
I mean, we can
Law,
go down the
everything.
law, down the
Like
line.
my squad is heavy. You know what I mean? And
We got
we
the
should,
legislators now.
and just as
we got
quick,
them people in office now.
just as quick as we could pull up and blow bread together. You know what I mean? We could do the same thing long term and invest in each other.
I'm with
Yeah.
that.
But Ray actually took the initiative and started the scholarship fund for the squad.
Okay.
But nobody flinched because it was Ray. We know he did his research. We know he did what his due diligence. So it's like, so what do you need? What are we doing? And everybody most fell into play. I think damn near everybody. Ray would know better than me.
everybody.
We hit our numbers.
Everybody's rocking, you know, we
You know what I
getting
mean?
things in order. Everybody going to be in the position they need to be in, you know, for, like I said, you're going to need an accountant. You're going to need somebody to handle the computers and back end and tech and all that. Like, so just getting all that in order before we put it out there for everybody to
Yeah, because we ain't went
support.
public with it yet.
Yeah, we haven't.
We've been giving out scholarships, but we haven't opened it up for donations.
We haven't went out there yet. We kind of doing it from the muscle. You know,
Yeah.
people will come to the, you know, Squad Life cookouts, which we're going to have next year, you know.
Yeah, we couldn't have it last year.
They'll come there and start giving donations. I still have the donations that we got from the last couple of years in my Cash App ready to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's still there. And that's the thing. Nobody even flinched on that. The bread is there. They ain't nobody called me and say, Ray, where's
happened?
that money at? Like,
Yeah.
how much money? Nobody, because, you know, we got
And
a
we
team
already
and
we already
everybody-
touched a few
everybody
kids with it. Some
doing
kids
exactly
have
what we
received
need to
it.
do.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, why not use those donation monies and buy an apartment building and then get passive income pays for the scholarships every year? And
Yeah.
put the money in trust to make sure kids don't gotta pay for nothing.
We'll get there. We ain't there yet.
I'm about to say it ain't
We
that
ain't
kind of
there
money yet.
It ain't that kind of money
I
yet.
think you a little closer than you think.
All right, well let's have
Yeah,
that
we gotta
conversation.
have that conversation.
I mean, well, we're both willing to have that conversation.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
You know what
It's
I
the
mean?
numbers
I ain't gonna
that-
tell you wrong.
No. But I'm saying that most people don't realize it's the amount of people.
Right.
That was the other thing I was
Absolutely.
saying.
Oh, that's
That was
what
the
Bob,
other
you
thing I
going-
was saying.
listen, that's a whole nother
That was my main
conversation.
part.
Yeah.
Everybody is not ready for that conversation. Everybody has things that they're doing. Like, whereas I can go and I could talk to somebody that I've only known for a month, and they're ready to go to invest in a property. I have 10 grand. I have 10 grand. This person had 10 grand. Let's go. We put it all on paper. It's written on paper. So you're not going to, for lack of better words, fuck me over.
I got
Right.
I
There's
got
everything
10.
here. Huh?
Oh, go ahead.
You said what?
I got 10.
You got 10. Listen, you know, and then we can go and do that. But you know, when you have, and this is not a knock to anybody, but I'm just keeping it, you know, funky. When you have a bunch of friends and everybody is doing kind of their own thing, and you try to mix friends with business
Yep.
and trying to get things done.
It's hard to get everybody on the same
It's hard to
page.
get everybody. So even with the scholarship fund, it was tough to get everybody on the same page. But now we're moving. So once you know everybody sees that that's in order, and then we can go
Do
on to
other
the next
stuff.
thing and say,
Okay.
okay.
But
now-
that was my vision
But you're
too.
completely
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Because in the
had
beginning, that
vision.
was the conversation. It was
Yeah.
like if we start a scholarship fund and we show each other that we can trust each other with
Yeah.
an investment,
Absolutely.
then we could go bigger.
Bigger and do
Talking
bigger
about
things.
investing in apartment buildings. Like that's what tip I was on.
Yeah, he was on some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you gotta get there.
I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if he say it makes sense,
Yeah, it does.
And
make
trailer
sense.
home parks. Like you could have got a trailer home park in Ohio, and it was 100,000, and the cap rate on it was like I think like 8%. You know what I mean? And I think the revenue on it was like maybe like a little over $1 million.
Wow.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's like,
So-
what do we? And the investment was 100,000.
That's
So
crazy.
I'm gonna blow your mind a little more. Trailer parks feel like that they not really viable in a place like Philly, but we're about to start a tiny home community,
yep,
which is the same thing.
it's the same shit.
The rental for the amount is a couple $100. You own the land, you put the tiny homes on it, and you lease it out to people. Like you would
That's
kind
lit.
of do rooms, but it's because it's basically like a
It's small.
300, 400 square foot
Yeah.
structure. And I mean, they would have access to, you know, a community kitchen and, you know, whatever. And some of them have bathrooms or like proximity to them. But that's coming. That should be here shortly.
That's
I'm
that's the information we need to
I'm
know.
aware of that. Yeah,
Me too.
that's and if I know, then that means it's probably closer than
Yeah.
than people
That's
think.
what I was saying.
Yeah.
I was like,
Because
they
I
put it
get
on
the
news.
information way after y'all get it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And
My company's involved in some of that too, which I'm excited about.
no, that's dope. That's dope. And congratulations on your progress. I remember having conversations with you trying to make decisions about next moves, future moves.
Yep. Yep.
And you killed that.
Listen, I appreciate
killed
it.
that.
I appreciate y'all. It's been a long road to seeing something when most people couldn't. Because, you know, when I stepped out to do real estate, like, all of my friends was engineers and attorneys and doctors, and they was looking at me like, Trey, you ain't gonna make no bread. Like, what is you doing? And I was like, no, but I see the vision and I know how this works, and technically I'm gonna be free. Like, y'all know I don't got no student loans because of my pop, right?
Right.
Exactly.
That part.
That's how I look.
That part.
That's my story.
Yeah, I do.
That was my story.
Yeah.
But that dynamic changes things.
Absolutely.
And it changes
You have the freedom
things
to do
for
certain
generations.
things. Absolutely.
It changes things for your kids. Like, you build these spaces to where they don't need to be tied to a dollar amount that they have to take a certain job or they have to hustle a certain way because already have all of this debt on me before I even enter into the world.
Because you know what's crazy? When I went to college, y'all know about my Aunt Hazel, my favorite aunt in the world. Rest in peace to her.
Hazel, yes.
Lost her over COVID, which was crazy. But
I heard about that over social media.
her thing was that when I was paying for housing at school, she was like, I'm trying to get your dad to figure out how to get you a duplex, and we could just rent out. And I actually was dating a girl out there that was her situation. But it's like, I can't, I'm not in a position to do it, and I can't force their hand.
Right.
And not to say that my dad wasn't with it, but at the same time, my aunt was also one of the people that a lot of times she planned ahead of herself.
Yeah.
So 70% of the time she came through, sometimes it was like, well, taxes hit.
Right.
And they hit on the apartment, they hit on the barbershop, they hit on the house, you know what I mean? And she was in charge of all of that. So that's a real number for her, you know what I mean, in real life. But that was her thinking back then.
Yep.
And I mean, I seen all y'all faces when I said it.
Yep.
Because
it make all the sense in the world. The world don't make no damn
because
sense.
the reason why I made that face, remember, I was talking about what my uncle did.
Y'all all made it.
And I was talking about what my uncle did for my family, and it kind of being like a halfway house or whatever.
Yep.
And I told you what age I was when I asked that question.
Yep.
I was in school. I was in college.
Yep.
And I wanted to do the same thing. And I had conversations with people in my family like, look, we can do this. And I'm giving them the numbers.
Yep.
Nobody believed in me. Nobody wanted to invest. Nobody wanted to do anything. And I'm just like, look, this is how, like, I'm telling them as a young boy, this is how we create wealth. Look, my Uncle Earl, I'm going to give my Uncle Earl. Shout out to my Uncle Earl. My Uncle Earl did it. This is what he's doing. Like, why can't we do it out here? I'm like, look, I got people that live with me right now. It's a 3-bedroom house, and I'm living in somebody else's house. They got 4 people in this joint, and we paying $800 a month.
Correct.
Like, why can't I get my own house? But I didn't have anybody willing to invest in me when I had the idea, so I had to invest in myself.
Right.
Now, I got a daughter. You know what I mean? It's 4 months old.
God
Shout
bless.
out to my baby girl.
Yeah, I mean, I got a new niece out here.
I'm making sure that she doesn't have to worry about that ever. I'm putting everything in place right now. So when she's grown, she's going to look, what do you want to do? Not what do you have to do.
Correct.
What's your passion? What do you want to do? Go out there and do it. Because guess what? You don't have to worry about nothing.
Can I give you flowers?
And it's on record.
Can I give you flowers right now and make them 2 of your best friends at the same time?
What's that?
I went to the baby shower. Baby shower was immaculate. Shout out to Mama Grinch, held it down. Shout out to all the ladies that was a part of that. We was in the park and we had everything we needed out that motherfucker. It was crazy. So shout out to that. But when my man gifted his fiance a bag,
Oh, yeah, I know you. Yeah.
and then you can't give a woman a bag without something in it. What was in the bag, right?
I got her LVMH stock. So we're not about to just be buying a whole bunch of Louis Vuitton, Dior, all that, popping bottles of Moet and stuff. Like, we going to buy the stock too.
But I'm going to do you one better, though. He did this in front of the squad and all her people.
Set the standard.
As
I know
he
that's
should.
So when you know what I mean, the bag was beautiful. Bag this fucking big. It's like niggas know what the bag is.
That wasn't the most
But
important part of it.
when it was looking the bag time, oh no, we changed the energy of this motherfucker because we not playing them games no more.
Yeah.
We can't.
Like
That's what's up.
it's corny. It's like I see people arguing over cell phones.
No.
You don't have an iPhone. If you have an iPhone, you have 6 pieces of tech connected to your fucking phone in that company. Did you invest in that fucking company?
Yeah.
Right.
Because you got to buy a new one every 9 months.
Right.
So what is you getting out of that?
Right.
And you online fighting for it. You hashtagging that shit more than they are.
Yeah.
I'm mad I missed the crypto conversation and the stock conversation.
We can
still have that
We can have
hand
it.
in hand with real estate.
We can have it now, but also we plan on having a part 2 to the original conversation too.
Okay.
So do you ever watch my podcast?
I do watch some of it when I can sit still.
If you watch that episode, you'll see where we at, and we
Okay.
can pick up from there.
Okay.
And on a deeper level. But you could talk about how it ties in now. I'm not gonna stop that.
Okay. I mean, I just think because you said something about stocks and LVMH, and I'm just like, the stock conversation is also probably hand in hand with one of the biggest transfers of wealth right now, especially with
Absolutely.
crypto.
When you said that, that's what I was thinking.
Yes. And people are about to start really understanding that, like, banks are becoming obsolete.
Yes.
You got a
can be
bank in your
own
phone.
bank.
They turn Cash App into a full-fledged bank for a reason.
Yeah.
Because motherfuckers is keeping thousands of
Thousands
dollars
of dollars.
on their Cash App. Just because it's how it
It
go
come
now.
in and go out. It come in
It's
and go out.
transactional.
And it's
It's
easy.
there. Everybody has it.
So I'm gonna quote one of my folks
You
in
can
the
invest
Black Wealth
in
Project,
Bitcoin through
because
that
I'm
shit.
also on another podcast too.
It was also lack of regulation is why people was
Black
using
Wealth
Cash App too.
Project.
Yeah, short shout out.
You hear me? It was also the lack of regulation of Cash App why people was using it as much too at first.
Absolutely at first. Trust me, I know a couple people that got their hands slapped.
Me too.
But don't Cash App me no more. They ain't fucking with me.
Cash App will burn you. You can have them thousands of dollars in there and do whatever wrong transaction, and they are burning you. You're not getting your money.
You heard what I said, right?
Yes, but they can't even cash up you anyway. Yeah,
Motherfuckers
like,
said,
no.
no, you can't
It's the
do
thing.
it.
Cryptocurrency, stocks. You're putting money into it to buy shares, buy pieces,
Right.
parts of the coin, whatever. The money that you're generating or the fictional income or profit, if you're putting this from a crypto space into a wallet and using a what's it called, a decentralized bank, you can pull money off of your investment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it becomes real cash.
Absolutely.
You can buy property with that money.
Because it's not the same. It's similar to like when they explain your 401k to you and
Kind
shit.
of, yes.
And it's like, well, this is here, but you can borrow against it, and it accrues this amount. But if you go in at this level, then this is what it falls. It's kind of the same, except
Kind
it's
of.
on something that's not dictated by
not
time or
tangible.
space.
And the difference is you don't need a credit score.
Right.
Say it again.
You don't need a credit score.
Oh, big difference.
Now, do you think they're going to change
Hold
that
on,
though?
hold on.
Crypto
Give me
is-
one of those.
But do you think they're going to change
I
that though
heard
eventually?
that. I heard that.
You hear me? Do you think they're going to change that eventually?
So I think there's trying to
Because I think it's too
figure-
easy for people, so I think they're going to have to do something.
The problem is the whole reason why cryptocurrency blew up the way that it did is because people are sick of the current economic statute.
Sure.
So you kind of can't. Is in
Can't
order for
regulate
them,
what's
they
not
can't
regulated.
regulate it because it's digital.
Right.
But you don't think they're going to find a way to?
You can regulate digital space,
I think
but
they're gonna try.
you'll only.
Yeah, that's
make
what I'm
it-
saying. Eventually,
it's
it's
like
gonna be-
blocking the Jordan commercial.
I just feel like
The
we're
shit gonna
and we
sell
talk
out
about this-
faster.
But you know what? I just feel like we're moving kind of like closer to Demolition Man. I just feel like
You know that's my favorite
Yes.
mine
example.
too. You know what I mean?
That's my
But yes.
favorite
That's why
example.
they
Yes.
tried. That's why they tried.
That's what I'm thinking about.
And you
Where
gotta
everything
get
is
ready for
regulated.
I was
I
like,
think
you
we had
gonna
that
get ready for
conversation
that.
during the
Everything is
crypto
regulated.
Yeah, we did.
episode.
But that's why
demolition.
they're
Ready for that.
taxing it. If you sell it, they're going to tax it. But now, like Traci said, look, they're creating companies to where you can borrow against your crypto now. So that's a whole new lane.
I mean,
And think it's gonna
motherfuckers is getting
continue.
major contracts in Bitcoin and crypto.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got
So
football
like,
players getting
if
paid.
you have
Mm-hmm.
the Dallas Maverick owner saying that all his merch should be available through Doge, which actually we had the conversation. That's what Blue Doge. But
Mark
like,
Cuban said that.
yeah. But it's like when you think about that shit, these are motherfuckers that got advisors.
Yeah.
The top advisors in
Exactly.
the world.
Exactly.
Like,
They not doing no fuck shit with their money.
I feel like y'all gotta pay attention when certain people start allowing stuff in certain
Yep.
spaces
Yep.
and they start regulating it. because
It's like
they're
when the
seeing
podcast button popped up on your cell phone and y'all thought it wasn't nothing.
that stuff. You gotta be careful because it really creates a whole
Market.
lane. And I'm just telling people, like, even if this is a small loophole, small window,
You need to take advantage of it while it's available.
You don't got
Yeah.
no credit score. You done made 20 grand off of your little fictional that you feel like crypto, Bitcoin,
And then you
Shiba
leverage
coin,
that to
whatever.
something else.
Leverage it to something that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buying 20 grand,
Yeah.
using 20 grand to leverage on a piece of property,
Yeah.
Sure.
a lot.
Land.
Yeah.
When
Sit
somebody
on
poke
it.
you,
Yeah.
when somebody poke you in your arm and it's right between that little muscle and shit,
That's what she just did.
I didn't even get like I could just like do it.
I'm like, oh my shit. All right.
Hit the funny bone. Like,
jokes. But nah, it's so many ways for
yeah.
folks to create levels of generational wealth so that way their kids and their kids don't have to do what we needed to do to substantiate life.
Yep.
And it's a real thing to come out of college and not have student loans
No
and
bullshit.
literally be in a space where you can mentally focus on
Starting at zero.
what you
You
want.
ain't in the red.
Yeah.
And that's
Like-
one of the things I said. I was like, look.
That's
you
why
know, you
people
can
can't
invest-
take jobs in what they majored in because they got to do something now.
Yeah.
I got too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to do something now.
I said you invest in crypto and do all that stuff, but like she said, just invest in something that's tangible that you can see. Like that's one of the things that I always do. Yes, I invest in crypto. Yes, I invest in stock. But if I see a good real estate deal, guess what? I'm pulling that bread out. I'm going to cop this real estate land, whatever it is, and if it's right, and then when the dip goes down on the stock or the crypto, I'm buying back in with the profit that I made
Facts.
from the real estate. Now I have this tangible asset over here, and I got my money
flipping over
back.
here.
Well, if you know anything about hustling, it's like money in circulation is money in circulation. Like if I'm diversifying whatever I'm doing, wherever it comes in at, I can still apply it because it's the same thing. It's fluid at that point. You know what I'm saying? I talked about vertical integration before. Which is something that I keep wanting to say because our people don't get it.
Right.
Like, and I'm telling you, everybody knows the Nipsey verse.
Yeah.
Nobody knows
Know
what he
it
meant.
means.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's one of the most popular verses on that album.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what vertical integration means. And that's scary.
It's an
because
economic principle.
It's a fucking
Right.
vocabulary word. Like when you really think about it, it's just something that is like, I'm integrated vertically. Y'all niggas blew it. What does that mean? Oh, I have a smartphone. You see what I'm saying? I actually watched Nipsey explain the definition of it, but I had already known the definition. He explained how it applied to his business model.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? That's different.
Right.
Because we don't always put ourselves in certain headspaces. And now that I'm in entertainment, I needed to hear how that applied to his business model.
Okay.
With everything you just said, I didn't think about this last time, but on my page of Real Estate Ray X2 on IG,
That part.
you'll see me put rap and real estate, and I'll post, basically rappers and everything that they're doing within the game. Because when I was younger, you had what was it called? MTV Cribs and all that. And you looking at everything they're doing. They didn't even own the damn houses.
They rented them.
Right.
You know what
Somebody
I'm
filled
saying?
their fridge for
Yes.
them. It
Yes.
was weird.
So
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, dang, like I wanted to get that. Like we all wanted to get that, right? Now you have that. Did we not?
No cat.
Yeah, I
You
wanted to
said
get the
nothing
car.
wrong, bro.
We did.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm
Yeah,
laughing
but what about
because
how
the
did they
house
feel?
is
But how did they feel as a person though?
He was like, I'm
they had to feel super nutty though that they on MTV Cribs with some other like
Not
stuff.
really.
That's
that
why we
Because it's
love Redman
entertainment.
so much.
No, it wasn't. Not if they
That's why
didn't go
the
home to
gang
something that
loves
that was quite like it.
Redman Jones was crazy. I
And he
love
still owns that house.
Yeah.
Redman
But that was the
Jones.
only one though.
But he
that
said
was like
that
that.
was only one of his cribs. He just didn't feel like being one of them boys. He wanted to be Redman.
But the main reason that I started putting all of that out there and kind of like showcasing when Snoop's talking about investing in Atlantic City. When,
Snoop.
Yeah, Snoop.
Right.
He all the way over there.
Right.
Worry about AC and that.
Look,
Because he want to be on the beach. He want to be another
No,
car.
he know what a
He
chicken
said-
that. He know what opportunity. If you watch the news
Shout
and
out
watch
to
what
Mayor
these
Martin
mayors,
Smalls.
watch
Yes,
what these mayors is talking
absolutely.
about, they about to turn that
Absolutely.
bitch into a showtail. It is lit again.
Absolutely.
You motherfuckers think it's a game.
But
Them
yeah.
little bum ass
Yeah.
houses right by the no more.
Yeah.
Trust me.
just
That whole plan changed too. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, like,
Envy investing out there
even
too.
with, even like, all right, so I'm naming names because like when you talking to the young bulls,
Go ahead,
like I
drop
can
it, I'll
talk to
pick
the
it up.
young bulls and I can tell them what I'm doing, right? And they like, oh, whatever. But when they see their favorite rapper, you know, like Moneybagg Yo, his girl bought him 100 acres.
That's just
Right.
a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big
or
deal.
Young Thug, he building, what is it, Slime Land. Like,
But you
I
bought
post
your
this
girl
stuff
100
on my-
acres.
But guess
you was
what?
acting your
Rondé doing that in
wage.
Chester. Like
Based on
Rondé
your,
is doing
based
that
on
in
your
Chester.
wage, you bought your lady 100 acres. You see what I'm saying?
Say what?
You acting your wage, but you bought your lady 100 acres with your investment.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, my main thing,
like
in
our
saying
gifts
that-
got to be gifts.
My main reason in saying that is because that's like influence. Like I was influenced by the rappers when I was younger, but they wasn't giving the game that they giving out now. So like a lot of people, they listen to
Thank
their
God
raps.
for
These
podcasts.
young boys listen to their raps and everything that they doing, but they don't see the business moves that they making behind the scenes, especially real estate. And that's a huge part of a lot of these rappers' portfolio. So any chance that I get, I try to highlight these rappers. So you'll see it. You could,
What's the
hashtag
first
rap
thing they
in
said when Dolph
real
died?
estate.
First thing they said when
He
Dolph
owned
died,
100
true or
properties.
not, is that he owed 100 properties. But one thing we do know that he said was he was buying his kids a property every birthday.
Every birthday.
And he said that. We
Listen,
seen that.
quiet
You
as
see what
kept.
I'm saying? That's
Now that
important.
you said that, like
That's
quiet-
an example
quiet
that
as kept.
everybody heard.
I'm putting this out there, like
You on the
that's
same
one
shit.
of my that's
My
one of my
nigga,
goals.
I love Ray.
I'm when he said that, I'm like, damn, like
Make all the
so
sense in
you
the world,
telling
and the
me
world
my
don't make
daughter
no
turned
sense.
18, she gonna have
18 of them
properties.
things.
Like that's crazy. So now maybe that might not happen, but maybe she'll
No,
have
we
eight.
listen. We
You know what I'm saying?
we
10
aiming for
by 18.
we aiming for 20 by we
Start.
aiming for 20 by 18, and we gonna fall where we fall at.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly.
She gonna get a bonus.
So I'm
Property.
gonna show you what that looks like on the flip side when you get to where you're trying to go.
Right.
Let's go.
My father has a 72 property trust.
You heard him?
Yeah.
72.
Blessings.
A lot of it was built off of when dollar homes.
I was just about to say that. Tracy, I was waiting for y'all to finish because I was bringing that up. I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man,
love you. Keep going. That's exactly. I was waiting for y'all to finish. Oh my
going.
God.
Built off of sheriff sale in the 80s.
Yep.
Built off of steam fitter relationship
And them lots.
and them lots.
Them lots.
Them lots. And literally just kept building year after year, putting them in a space, but put them in a trust. And here's why. From a tax purpose,
Yes.
it don't affect us, and it has its own entity, and we don't have to pay for it personally.
Right.
Right.
Secondly, there's rules. Anybody go to jail, you can't have access to the trust.
Yeah, so you can put your whole, like, all the rules in place for this trust, or
Absolutely,
once they
'cause
get
we
to a
not
certain
putting this
age,
shit up
that's
for
when
your
they
bill.
have- Yeah, no.
Now, there are also other stipulations. I won't go into all of them because that's my family business. That's none of y'all
No,
business.
we gonna talk about that afterwards. You know, I'm trying to get to where
and let me
he
be
at.
clear, hold that thought. We having this conversation for the people because it's important for
Oh,
our
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
But I also plan on continuing these conversations in our real life because y'all my people.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But
Of
like
course.
I would be remiss to not have them be part of the process
Agreed.
because I'm having the same. If I'm on live at 2 a.m, this shit comes up sometimes.
I'm sure it does.
You see what I'm
It
saying?
should.
I
If
could
folks
say
is
look at
waking up.
episode 1, whatever, and we on it.
Yeah.
But go ahead, my bad.
But in that conversation too, there's also provisions for people if you want to start a business. There's provisions if you want to go to college. There's provisions for a lot of different things that allow everyone to be able to pursue what they want unencumbered. but
Like NBA
still-
bonuses. Like if you get a certain amount of rebounds.
But
I know.
kinda, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You get,
You get a certain amount of
Yeah,
sacks.
you can put
you
it-
finish out with a 4.0. You
Right.
might
You have
get
to
a
go to
car.
you have to go to college and complete,
But it's built in, it's systematic.
Absolutely.
It ain't even personal. That's systematic at that point.
It
It's
is.
business.
Yeah.
And everybody
It's already
knows
written
the
out.
rules. Everybody has access to the paperwork. There's a full-on legal
That's what I was gonna ask you.
team
Does
who
everybody have
handles
access?
the paperwork for the trust. Anybody got to ask for stuff, they got to go to the trustee, which
Right.
is an attorney. The one person doesn't control anything. It's a firm that handles it.
Right.
So if they leave the firm, this firm.
Mind you, these
Yeah.
white folks been doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say.
Been
They
doing
been
it.
doing
Absolutely.
Listen,
Trust kids. We always heard about trust fund
Trust
babies.
fund babies.
Right. You know what I mean? We always
I
heard
didn't
about
understand.
that.
I didn't understand what that was until probably 10 years ago.
Yep.
A little bit more than 10 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
when they say trust fund, baby, I just saw, oh, they got money. They people's got
Nah.
money. But I didn't understand, like, the
It's
ins
deep.
and the outs
No.
of it.
I used to
'cause
hang
nobody
out-
ever told me. I
I
don't
used
know
to-
anybody with a trust.
I used to hang
Yeah, I
out
do.
with I used to hang out with a 22-year-old white guy whose family, he was the third generation of real estate, and they actually run real estate in Fishtown. Not gonna give up the last name.
I was about to say.
Initials is MK. Exactly. We lived in Center City in an apartment that was worth a couple million on 23rd and Spruce.
I was there.
That he actually was born in.
Oh, very nice.
So this tells you how long they owned it.
Facts.
Nice.
You see what I'm saying?
Big facts.
They gave it to him as a gift 1 year. Like, he was already living there. Like, you can live there, whatever. But it was his from birth. He just
Yeah.
didn't know it yet.
Yeah.
Facts.
And the next thing was, when you start your family, if you don't want to be downtown, you come stay with us. We build you your $5 million property.
Yep.
Yeah.
They had the blueprints and the schematics already for it.
Yep.
Like you don't understand, these conversations are
Different.
different.
Right.
And I'm black, and at the time I was in the streets. I was running back uptown to make sure I hit my number. You know what I'm saying? But I was still hanging out in mansions for weeks. Like, I had my own house in a mansion for 3 months because his parents went around Europe for the summer or some shit. You know what I
That's them
mean?
Roman
We
Catholic
had
friends.
we had friends that was house sitting mansions just because the dog was there and somebody had to be there to feed the dog.
Oh, house
But
sitting.
all of the fridges was full and all the liquor cabinets was loaded. And we got white boys riding quads in the backyard. Like, the neighbors is coming. Like, we really was living different.
Yeah.
But it made me, my number one motto, and I hate to say this because it's kind of really shit I ever said, was, niggas ain't talking about no money. And you've heard me say that before. Niggas ain't talking about no money.
Right.
Like, the shit we argue about, the shit we rob each other for, these
each other
motherfuckers
over
will
it.
take you to Paris for a month
Yep.
and tell you to leave your fucking credit card at home.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just bring your ID.
Yep.
And it's nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
City had a birthday. We had a couple limos. We had the squad, and we had the hood, and we had multiple rooms in AC, and niggas was doing whatever they wanted. We met a billionaire's daughter through that. She lives different.
Absolutely.
She lives different. She told us a car driving the wrong way on the highway. She gets a new one the next day. She drops her cell phone on her Michelle watch and shatters it, and it's about Nathan. It's 20 more where that came from. Like, she lives different. When she was out with us in AC one time for my birthday
Yeah.
and got white people thrown out the casino bar and just told us it was like, you
Charge everything to the card. I'll be back.
Right.
I gotta call my lawyer.
woke up, no, she literally said, you don't want me to call my father. You don't want to know who my father is.
Yeah.
And the next morning when she woke up, everything was off of her credit card except for the shots. All the bottles was comped. All of that. Like, you don't understand how different these conversations be, yo.
And in my space, with a lot of the stuff that I talk about, a lot of the stuff that I put on social media, and the conversation is, it starts with one thing. Like, literally in your family or in
I'ma tell you
their
how they got the
family.
billion.
That's what I was going to say.
He bought the company that made the screws or the bolts for the boardwalk or some shit.
Yeah.
He bought the company, and it was before the internet. He did some shady shit. He made a phone call to everybody or sent an email, whatever, to everybody that bought from all the other companies that made the shit and told them they out of business. He was 20 years old. He thought it'd be cool to own a business.
I thought it was cool.
He was
It was
20
cool,
something
obviously.
and thought it'd be cool to own a business. Now he buys banks.
Yeah.
It's real.
You see what I'm telling
Lord, I
you?
wanted
Now
to
he
ask
buys
about-
banks.
I wanted to ask
We ain't
you
even talking about property no more.
something.
He buys financial institutions.
So speaking of building, I know you always, and I want you to know your opinions as well. But Traci, I know you always, well not always, but you frequently have posted about new construction.
Yes.
What's your opinion? Because I've always, and I don't know about other people, but I've always catered to historic or, you know what I mean? Things that are, you know, a jewel or a treasure. What is the benefits of new construction? And is it a new thing? Like, 'cause I think I see a lot of development, but go ahead.
It's a lot of development in our area that's happening, probably more so that people are seeing closer in the city. It's always been a lot of development in Montgomery County and
Absolutely.
Delaware County
Yeah.
or whatever, and that's not something that's fairly new. Y'all have heard of terms like Ryan Homes and Toll Brothers and all
Absolutely.
that stuff. Those people are,
Been around.
generationally into, new construction, so it's not a new phenomenon.
What about the Delaware market?
Delaware same?
They've been doing the
Because they still build in Delaware.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
And
new
they
communities.
found a way to swindle a lot of us to go out there until they realized the commute wasn't cutting it.
A lot of people still
Go there, yeah.
I know.
Go look for
I know
this
barbers
property in
that moved
Delaware.
That whole
Delaware.
demographic has changed.
It has.
Even in the furthest south areas, that was the most.
And I ain't mean to
That's
cut
the way-
wisdom, but
Prices up there.
it just
No.
made me think
Yeah,
about
no.
it because it feels like Delaware has always had space to build, and they always
They
was
still
building.
do.
They still do. And it's a whole community between Middleton and
Yep.
Dover
Yep.
that they've got community after community that's popping
Yep.
up. I will say this. Those of us who grew up in old school Philly, when our infrastructure was built in like the 50s and the 60s, they don't make buildings like that no more. They don't make the stone that they use to put stuff together like they did anymore.
These houses
Tilt it
cheaply
towards you.
made.
Tilt the mic
I think
part.
it's fine though.
You see how everybody else mic is?
No. It's gonna be fine. If she can hear me, I'm fine.
No, that's why she's coming to fix it.
Well, then that's what she gonna do. Because I'm not, obviously.
Yeah, crazy.
Thanks.
There we go.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna get that right.
She's not wasn't gonna get that right.
Clearly, I wasn't gonna get that right. But anyway,
Yeah. So old school Philly, we know what infrastructure looked like when it was built in the 50s and 60s. They don't make the brick like they make some
Right.
more. They don't make the stone like they make some more. They're
Right.
very much more solid homes that were going to last forever. New construction, some of it can be fabricated, some of it can be a little bit flimsy, but I think the concern with the conversation with the difference is a lot of this 2021 iPhone, Android communities that needs everything at a touch, that I need convenience, that I need all of that, it don't fit in that
that
old
old house.
infrastructure.
Absolutely,
At all.
I got you.
It doesn't fit.
At
Now,
all.
you can gut it out
Right,
and
and
redo
rewire
it
or do
all
whatever,
to keep
right,
But
the
at what,
structure.
at what cost?
Right.
That's the conversation. So I tell people a lot of times, like buying rehabbed homes and different stuff like that is cool. Just making sure that all of the infrastructure was done the way that it's supposed to.
Right.
Pieces was connected and everything else can kind of function with each other.
Because these houses is like bomb shelters for
And you actually right,
service.
'cause I
No,
gotta-
when you try to get service in certain people's shit, like I remember it was a whole block on Ogans where your phone wouldn't get no service at one point. Just imagine living on that block. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Yeah,
was
but
crazy.
she's right because one of the properties that I have, I'm going to rewire and do like the piping. What is it, PVC? I want to do all the PVC because it wasn't, and so I definitely understand it.
Yeah, the plumbing shit is outdated like a
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll
motherfucker.
have to dig up the damn streets
So I
to
was-
get that stuff fixed.
I'm dealing with
sometimes.
that with one of my clients now. But the other concern too, and if nothing else, if any of your followers and folks is from Philly, that water bill that y'all get that tells you about that $8
Yeah.
program to insure your pipes, do
Yeah, I'm about to
it.
say do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do it.
Seriously.
Because I promise you, if you've ever rehabbed, if you ever had to update, if you ever had a backup or
That'll cover
anything
it.
else, it will cover it. And Philadelphia's infrastructure was built in the 50s.
yeah.
It is
The house was definitely built in the 50s.
And they don't fix anything until it busts.
Until
Right.
it busts.
And it's
It
on
has
you.
to be a sinkhole first.
And it's on you if you don't get that. If you don't get that
Right.
plan.
Oh no, if they gotta cut up your lawn or your
No,
the
everything they
front
got
of
to do with your
house,
pipes is on
Right.
you.
Correct.
Yeah, but
Correct.
like when they go into that deep surgery, when they got to tear all that shit up, and it's you be thinking like, well, the city, no, that's on you.
So the rule is from the house to the street.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So any pipe that go from the street, under the sidewalk,
Mm-hmm.
under your walkway, all of that, that's
You.
Trees, that the like it's deep.
Roots,
Yeah.
growing trees.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just
Growing
thinking I
pipes.
wasn't gonna rake my leaves. I was like, maybe I should rake the leaves for somebody to fall or something, right? I was like, that's like a
Leaves
hazard,
raking
right?
is helpful. I mean, they get slippery and stuff when
You know,
it's
that's
raining,
what I was
but-
saying. I was like, let me be
Yeah.
a little responsible. You know?
But y'all gotta, if you own property, please make sure you get that stuff. If your parents own it, please make sure that
They got it.
Because I promise you,
It'll fuck up your inheritance.
Yeah.
Going back to those wholesalers. Yeah, it only need like $10,000 worth of work, $5,000 for the
They
roof.
is
and
burning you
paint
up,
and all
right?
that.
And there's
Like,
nothing
what you
in
talking
it.
about? Do you see these pipes? These joints been there
Yes.
since the 60s,
Yes.
bro. All this need to come out.
Wiring and all that,
You don't
probably.
know
I ain't
what you're
gonna
doing.
lie. I
Yes.
buy used cars. Nigga put my truck in the air. Whole lot under there we ain't see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know what it is. I know what I
Right.
got it for. So we gonna make it right. But we gotta make
That's
sure that
the
it's
difference.
reasonable.
That's
Right.
the difference. You know what's under there and what's supposed to look like something, even if you don't, not mechanic level. And the problem with some of these wholesalers and these conversations of people doing get rich quick, you don't know how much PVC
They
pipe
don't.
costs.
At all.
You don't know what it costs
Niggas
to
got the
redo
for
a
dummies.
kitchen.
They got the for
Dog.
dummies version of the book.
They don't even know
Exactly.
those ratios.
Niggas got cliff notes.
No, most of them are just out here using YouTube gurus and
Exactly.
Instagram.
Well, you see what I
gurus
said
and buying-
earlier
say-
about when
Or
the
buying a
industry
little
shifted when they
$50
made that
boat
law
that
about renting out properties.
Yeah.
We see what the game was then. Now, especially what we talking about with crypto, with people that have money to take advantage of all type of things and
Right.
make it real,
Right.
the competition level is crazy.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Because
is.
like now we talking about selling online properties, like digital
So I'm
property.
glad we got to that because I wanted to make sure we talked about that because I was like, y'all, if I don't
kinda good at my
give,
job.
Okay, I appreciate that. And that's why when you called me, I was like, only for you because I'm not coming on nobody else's podcast like this.
I appreciate that.
Got another one in there?
So the thought process is nothing else. If y'all don't learn nothing else or understand nothing else or be exposed to nothing else, know and understand that what we are about to embark in this virtual world is about to tear apart everything that you thought you knew about
business.
about value, about
Oh, for
how
sure.
things are going to work.
We're the Sims now.
Exactly.
We're the Sims.
And that's what I was telling people. I was like, yo, so, and just as a quick conversation, people play Call of Duty.
Right.
Let's say Call of Duty come out with a game that says Call of Duty Philly. You go into Call of Duty Philly, how you know you in Philly?
Your landmarks.
The landmarks. So if a landmark has to show up in the game for you to pay attention that this is where you are.
To be represented, it needs to be cleared, which means somebody has to get paid.
Yes. And in what's now being called the metaverse, which is this virtual world,
Yes.
somebody can own
Yeah.
virtual art museums.
Yeah.
Is Ron
Virtual-
Artest more of a genius than we? Never mind.
Oh, because his name was Meta.
Meta World Peace.
He's here.
He did that shit 20 years ago.
He did, and nobody knew what that was.
Nobody
He
was hip to it. They
why
were
would
like,
you do
what?
that?
He's like, this is more important than anything you ever heard.
But that's related to the NFTs and all that too,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But hold
Correct.
on though, is all of this shit? Remember we always said there was going to be a unified currency, a one world currency.
I
Are
think
we
it's
there
getting there
now?
when we get to the
I
crypto.
think we're approaching.
Are we embarking upon it?
something.
Yeah.
We're kind of there.
We're approaching something, which is what the cryptocurrency conversation is. Why it's even relevant right now. Anyway.
Why it makes so much?
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody's looking. It's about the because we know as the country that we've always accredited a few families to running everything in this country because of the banking system.
Yep.
And they're not going anywhere. They're situated.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what are they going to do? You know what I mean? Like nobody's just going to be left out.
Yeah.
But listen, in Decentraland, I posted this on my gram.
Say it again.
It's
Decentraland.
Decentraland.
Okay.
So that's one of the digital
Metaverses,
properties.
yep,
Yeah. So 2.3 million land for 2.3 million. Like it's real. It's not going anywhere.
No.
So it's the same thing as the real world. If you look at it, if you can find something, in Decentraland and it's $1,000 now, $5,000, to go ahead, buy it, hold on to it, and it's going to be the same thing. Like
So look,
And that concept is still
If I
kind
make-
of the same.
if I make digital these,
That's an NFT.
this my NFT.
yes.
yeah.
Cause Red just made the Hella Black, Hella Proud tee NFT.
Yeah.
Heavy. Shout
Yes.
out to my guy.
Yeah.
But
Red.
like
Red.
Yes.
I could do this
Yes.
and it's a joint.
Yes.
Yeah.
And your folks already know what that is.
Right.
Yeah, we
So
fought
everybody can go.
for that. We got for
You can have, listen, you can have a bar. It'd be Sippin
Yeah.
with Sammie's.
Yes. An actual bar.
And people could go there, you know what I mean? And like she said, it could be art.
This is
it
what
could
I
be
need to hear.
music.
Yeah.
It could be whatever it is in there, as long as people are coming to your
And I
space.
could decorate it with Sammy
Yeah,
shit.
And I spoke about this on the last one. You can get sponsors, so they
Yes.
could you can have what I have in my, I'm not going to give
Yeah,
them
we
what
do that,
what I have in
understood.
my hand right now, and that's plastered in Sippin with Sammie's
Yeah.
in the Decentraland, and they'll pay you just for having that because you got
Like having your
1,000
name
people
on
that
my
come
boxing
through every
shorts.
weekend.
Here's also the
lit.
conversation too, because you know the Oculus
Absolutely.
with those spaces, they're playing in virtual land. So let's say Sippin with Sammie is an NFT. Sippin with Sammie also has a bar. Let's say the location of the bar is what technically will be considered Rubens. Most people know where that location is. Most people you can advertise it, tell people what it is, and you can have variety shows inside of Sippin with Sammie's and give people the link who have Oculuses who can come and join the show.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about
Yeah.
digital ticket sales.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I heard about that, but I just literally heard about that like a week or two ago.
imagine watching the
Because that
basketball
was
game from
another
your
level.
crib.
Right.
That was another level
Floor.
to me. But this is
Floor
why
seats.
I've been wanting to have these conversations on the pod and like I said, in real life also,
Yeah.
is because it's like every time I hear something, I'm like, I worked hard for this brand. This brand translates.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just need to know what makes the most sense because I don't want to run willy-nilly and run into...
I think it's gonna be tough, but you try different stuff, put it out and see what happens. Like
Yeah.
it's $1 right now. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have no limit on what you can start or finish, and just see what catch.
But even saying it's $1, that was new to me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
whatever.
I'm
it is,
keeping
like,
it
you gotta
G with
think
y'all.
about it in the real world. Yeah, that sold for 2.3 million,
Yeah.
but it's the hood and the Decentraland too.
like there's nothing around it.
Dollar
But
property.
you gotta build it all up. Like the same thing. One of my friends actually bought Central High School in the metaverse.
That's crazy.
They bought my school.
Yes, he went to Central.
Oh, he better
He
have.
went to Central.
No,
he knows it.
He better
But
have.
it's not
Tracy's
catching on yet. So he
Yeah.
paid $10
Something like
for
that.
it.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Because that's similar to buying domains, though.
That's what I was about to
Because
say.
Yeah.
we bought the Your Work Network, which is ultimately another version of YouTube, but with a better percentage for the people. When you pay a couple hundred for the name, as soon as the shit pop up, it's worth $3,000 just based on the name, based
Yeah.
on the words that's in the name.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like that's already an investment because if I cash out, this is what I get. I
Thanks.
only paid a few hundred for it.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy part. There's going to be real estate companies selling decentralized land in the metaverse.
She wants a high five.
I know. I'm like, you
No,
not
no,
waiting.
that was me raising my hand. That was me raising my hand. That was
Yeah,
my
that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, that was me raising my
As soon as
hand.
she went forward, I was coming.
I was on the back end. I didn't know what was
No, she
going
was
on.
like,
All right.
Like,
I swear.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
I'm going to be
No,
one
we
of
was
those people who are going to have real estate companies that operate in the metaverse for people to buy property and be able to operate in space.
My man is renting
see,
out
we
an
on the
office
same
space.
Tight time.
My
yo.
man renting out an office space on there for $40. I don't know how long you get it, but like, it's a real thing. Like, and
Yeah.
that's what made me like, hold the fuck up, because he posted it on the book, and I'm like, you got a $40 digital office space? How much that cost? You know what I mean? Like, it make you think different, but at the same time, it's an onslaught of new things happening based
Right.
on one
Right.
mentality.
But it's closer than people think
A
because
lot closer.
first of all, COVID and the shutdown sped everything up.
Up.
That's what I
It
saw.
sped it up.
I've
So
always
now
thought that, yeah.
everybody's used to Zoom. They used to FaceTime. They used to going live. Imagine your job saying your training is in the metaverse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Everybody from Hong
No,
Kong
that's not even hard.
to whatever.
And you
That's not even
Meet
hard.
in the
That's here.
metaverse.
That's here.
That's what I'm saying.
That's here. You know how much fun I had on Zoom in the damn pandemic?
I got tired of it.
I just was like, I can't
wasn't.
Zoom
See,
no more.
I wasn't taking meetings on Zoom.
Oh, see, I was.
I was
I can't
potting
do
on
too.
Zoom, and Squad had a couple birthdays
Oh,
and
that
something
was
we
nice.
did on
fun.
Zoom.
That was
We
nice.
And I
drinking.
remember one time we was supposed to be on there 2 hours. We was on there till 3 in the fucking morning.
no, I can't.
Like, you know what I mean?
was a
Because
ball.
with everybody being stuck in the crib,
Yeah.
it was like one thing I love about my squad and my group of friends in general is we gonna have fun.
Yeah.
We don't give a fuck what the rest
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
room
yeah.
doing. If everybody got a section, they're watching our section.
Yeah.
We not watching them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're literally trying to figure out why everybody's watching us. Because we go so hard just to be around it. So Zoom kind of was like, you know what? We
kinda
still
in
could
the
do this
room,
shit. Now, if we tried to do that every week, that's different.
Nah.
Yeah.
Not
So
now.
I understand when you had to take constant meetings on there,
Yeah.
but I wasn't having meetings on Zoom. You know what I mean?
I was meeting all throughout.
Everything I did on Zoom was pretty much recorded outside of squad shit.
I mean, just having
But
your
also,
avatar.
real quick,
ahead.
we was able to reach out to a lot of small business owners and black businesses and artists during the pandemic
because
through
of it,
Zoom,
sure.
just to sort of offer inspiration to other people,
That's dope.
type of thing. So we could have an episode and hit up 8 people.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? Because we'd be texting like, "Yo, you available?" They'd be like, "All right." We'll tap
But I
in.
mean, at that time, everybody was sitting in front of their television
Yeah.
or their computer.
Yeah.
Or their phone.
Yeah.
So it was like, you not doing nothing because we know ain't nothing open. So let's just
Right.
talk.
But I appreciated that because that was something that, you know how it is. It's us getting here today. It's hard to get people together that's
It is.
moving.
It is.
So that was one of them times where it was like I was still building this platform,
Yeah.
and I was able to do something different that I thought would uplift. Where I wasn't able to, like, I could get a stage, I can get a room
Yep.
to put 10 microphones in,
Yep.
but during that time I couldn't
Wasn't right.
do it.
Yeah. That's how I felt. Like throughout the whole pandemic, I literally built like a 15-person real estate team of
Dope.
people
Dope.
to be able to join, to be
That
able
was one of
to
my
take
next questions.
advantage of this entire market moving forward. And, you know, for those that don't know, like I'm the vice president of residential sales for
Say that.
Mosaic Brokerage.
Say it again. Vice President,
Of residential sales for Mosaic Brokerage.
Mosaic, right?
Mosaic Development Company owns our brokerage. They are a black-owned minority MBE WBE company that literally does development. They said, "Oh, we know we're creating these properties and we're putting them together. We need to create a diversity team
Sure.
to help work with us to sell them to black and brown folks, so that way we can give them opportunities and get them access because." This is one of the things. Even
That's
with
what
the
your page
conversation,
shows, though.
It does.
that's,
Your page
that's what
shows
I try.
that.
That's
Yeah,
what I
your
try to
page
show. Try to show on my social media platform. But the conversation is a different conversation when the stuff we've been talking about in the discussion. One of my biggest things, and y'all know this from just Ivy Leaf, like culture is everything.
Absolutely.
Culture is everything.
Oh yeah, we all went to Ivy Leaf except Ray.
Yeah.
By the way,
It's okay. It's good.
nah, you good. You smart as a whip.
Good money. You know what I mean?
Uncle Earl had him. He
Right,
cool.
I was like,
Right,
you
right.
had your
You
folks.
welcome in our circle. I was just about to ask if she had space for number 16, but you know, anyway.
But I say all of that to say, with culture being important, when you have professionals, when you have people who are helping you, who are guiding you and stuff, they have to be village minded. They can't be transactional.
Talk about
Right.
it. Intentional.
They do. They
Intentional.
really do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it means something completely different when I have my clients come to me and say, "Oh, I want to get into real estate, blah 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 blah," and I'm like, "But you only got $1,000. You making this amount of money a month. You don't really have no back end. You don't know nobody who do construction.
Yeah.
Like this might not be where
For
you
you,
want to go
right.
right now.
Right.
Because I could take your money, but it's not gonna go far, and you're not gonna do well. And that
Whereas
not,
the other is taking the money.
right.
A lot of people would just
A
take the
lot of
money and
people's
run and
taking
just
the
be like, look, it's not
money.
I'm about to say it's not even
So,
other. It's a lot of
but-
people
but-
in general that was going to take it that's not genuine and sincere like Traci is.
Exactly. We talking about being genuine. We talking
Yeah.
about not scamming.
Right. But here's the
But
other
the
thing.
industry is the industry.
But
It's
the-
not even a scam. It's the business.
It is taught with the business, but at the end of the day, people have their own integrity and how they look at stuff that they got to deal with anyway. And I tell people all the
Right.
time, I don't need your money.
Right.
I do this for
At
the
all.
culture.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, I want to make sure that folks get it right and that they can create spaces, because part of the issue for me with some of the violence and stuff is because there's the not haves, the have-nots, and the haves.
Yeah.
And you're
And
looking at me
have-nots,
as a have. I don't want to have to
have
fight
no
for what I
issues.
got. I'd rather show you how to fish.
Hey, get
so now
yours.
you're not worrying about my basket.
Right.
I was just having this conversation.
And if I'm not
right before I got
mistaken,
here with my
if
home.
I'm not mistaken, you still live in the city within
Yes.
city limits, right?
Yes.
So it's like her problem, y'all problems is her problems.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
she's not somebody that's on the outskirts
No.
telling
Yeah.
y'all like, yo, well, we don't swing down.
Yeah.
We scoop down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's always been everything that I've been taught throughout all my life. Lift as you climb.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
build a higher fence, build a longer table.
That part.
Like, it's just so much that needs to be said. Now, I'm going to say this
That's
too.
a T-shirt, by the way.
It is. It really is. But people and our people have to get out of their own way. And they also have to understand too, and I don't blame them. There's some conversations that need to be had. I'm not a licensed psychotherapist, so I'm not here to take on people's personal, private problems. And a lot of folks got to deal with their mental health.
Yes.
In order to be able to receive the blessings that are coming your way.
Absolutely.
You can get in your own way from just not being able to understand that somebody's here to help.
But I think that also comes as generational. It comes from the
Yes.
lack of exposure. It comes
Yes.
from the lack of knowledge.
Yes.
I think that's where a lot of that comes from. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people have to be taught that.
They do.
To receive. A lot of people aren't. They didn't come up with the culture in the village that we came up with. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
agree.
One thing that we talk about a lot on this pod, and one thing that we get a lot on this pod, is that when we sit down with people, whether it's that day or later on we run back into them, they always say, I never got that kind of love.
right.
Y'all show so much love. And even with Flyboy Friday on Glockaware, it's the same thing. It's like, yo, I mean, I interviewed Rampage, the last Boy Scout. He done ran to every station in the world with Busta Rhymes. He said on air, I ain't never, this the best, you know what I mean? Even if he was capping, his energy was there. He was having the time of his life, no bullshit, you know what I mean? And like, it's like, it makes me sad for people sometimes.
Yes.
Because like I acknowledged earlier, my squad is dope.
Yeah.
Most of the people that I grew up around are dope. I grew up with Saf. We
Yep.
went to the same school. I
Yep.
was under Traci in school.
Yep.
Like, I have resources that a lot of people, whether they know or not, they may not have the privilege of having.
Yep.
But I'm used to love.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
used to motherfuckers being like, yo, it don't matter what
I
you
think we
got.
were blessed with that,
out.
though. I think we were blessed because I think
We
that
out.
that's not. I don't think a lot of people have
No,
come up
I'm
with
acknowledging
that. Like,
that,
yeah,
but go
yeah.
ahead.
I think we were blessed with that. No, I'm gonna let
Yeah.
Tracy go.
No, I was saying, I agree with you. We were, and people have to understand there's a difference between growing up on love and growing
Yes.
up on survival.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was.
And my
that's
dad
what-
used to
yep.
preach that to me when I was in high school, hanging out in North Philly all the time. He like realized that you were around a lot of people that were raised to get over
Yep.
because they're trying to survive.
And that was my
you
second
look
point.
like a come up
And that was my
because
second
they
point
know
that I
you're
was
not
gonna
from
make.
down there. And I was addressed with that before. I was literally on a corner one time, 2, 3 in the morning outside of deli. We getting cheeseburgers, fries, and shit. You know, hood nigga shit. We ain't going in the house. You outside all night.
Yeah.
So we doing it, and we around like Knife and Dolphin or somewhere, and OG was out there, and he walked up, and he was drunk or high as hell, and he said, I know you such and such nephew. I know you such and such. I used to gangbang with your uncle. That was my block cutty. I used to da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
I don't know you.
Yeah.
You're not from around here.
Yeah.
Where you from? So I'm looking at him because I'm like, nigga, you done played the trivia game.
Yeah.
It's on you.
Right.
He says, you look like you from Mount Airy or something.
How you say that though?
All my niggas fell out.
Yeah, I would have cracked that too. Like,
I'm looking at them like, who told him?
Who told
Yeah.
him? He was like,
But you don't
told him.
understand, like,
Yep.
some motherfuckers lived.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I ran around with wolves.
Yeah.
Like my homies wasn't like, I wouldn't have been out there if I couldn't be out there.
Yeah.
They was doing shit that sometimes I just used to have to watch. Like, well, y'all got it. like,
Y'all tripping.
it seems to be handled.
Yeah, y'all go ahead.
But at the
Y'all
same
go.
time, that's when I heard my dad.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's when I heard my dad. It's like I say about these kids. We can't say they not listening.
Yep.
Because at the same time, I've been a little
watching.
brother. My sister has told me shit that I don't care. I ain't you. I ain't dumb. And I took note of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I changed that.
Yep.
As simple as taking care of my hats.
Yeah,
Yep.
the toughest thing.
You know what I
to
mean?
change-
You just got to say it.
You gotta
The
say
toughest-
it.
That's why I say it.
Yeah.
I don't
And you had to
really
receive
hold
it though.
back
Again,
much.
what Tracy and I were
You
talking
do.
about earlier. You have to be open to receive it
You have
because
to.
a lot of
But you
people
don't
aren't.
even have to be able to
That's what I was
receive
about
it.
to-
You
There's
have
other
to
ways,
hear
though.
me. You'll receive it. Hopefully, when it's a situation you could bounce back
But that's the
from.
whole part of receiving it
But
though.
when
You
you
still
need it.
received
The
it.
toughest thing is to
You
change
received it, you just
somebody's
used it at a different
mindset.
time.
Like, it's hard to
It's
change
hard.
somebody's
But
mindset.
reception
That
is
goes into
weird.
the mental. You don't know what they've been through when they
Yeah.
was younger. If they was raised on survival, this is all they know. So
Yeah.
you trying to tell them something different. You know what I mean? And they like, what, man?
And I have that
can't even hear what you're
understanding.
saying right
Because
now.
that's like, I still have my mother and father together.
Yep.
So when I got to talk to my
Shout out to your
best.
mom and your dad.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shout out
right,
to
shout
them.
out to
them.
Can we drink to that?
No, can I get
Yeah.
some? No, can we? I was waiting for that moment. Listen, let me get
I'm
some.
not mad- I'm
But
not mad
no,
at
one
that
thing
at
that
all.
I known growing up was I only had a few homies who had both of their parents that they had positive relationships with, let alone was together.
Right.
Positive.
So when I'm talking to my best friends and they going through their thing over their dad,
Hold up, pause. Shout out to the parents.
Shout out to the parents.
hold on, I still got.
I'm gonna get.
Oh, you gotta pour
Do I,
yours too?
do I need to get a John or?
You been had a cup here
Yeah.
for you.
Because you ain't turning up like
Right.
I know. That's what I said. You
I
been
just
here.
got some work to do when I go.
All right, hold on. We got clink, clink, clink.
They didn't care about that.
Bro, reach it. Clink, clink.
And I love y'all. But,
Love you back.
Too, bro. You already know.
but I had to handle that with tact.
Yeah.
Because it's hard sometimes to tell your friend, bro, your life might not have been better with him in it.
We had that
And we had
conversation,
this
too.
conversation on
Yep.
the pod before. And it's not because of your understanding of him.
Right.
It's because I see something that you
Not even what you see, the person of who the person is.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like, if it takes that much, who's to say that if it was in there that would make it better?
Yeah.
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 You see what I'm saying? But that's a hard conversation to have. But
Gotta
at
have
the
those
same time,
conversations.
I had to be aware of my position in that conversation.
Right.
I also have a father
Yes.
that's here for you too.
Correct.
Yeah.
I got a mom that you can eat more meals at a week than your own mama house.
Yeah. I always feel love when I come over to
Miss
your
Rice, I
crib.
You
love
see what I'm
I
saying?
brought my
Yes.
homie over
Like,
there.
we ain't play like
he
that.
was like, yo, he's like, they got all these chicken wings. He remember that? He got all this, start cracking up at all the chicken wings. He got all these chicken wings. I'm like, bro, it's all love, dog. You can have as many
You can
chicken
have
wings
as
as
many
you want.
chicken wings as you
know
want.
what I
She
mean?
gonna make you take some with you.
I'm
Yeah.
hollering. I know. I
Because the
definitely
fridge
listen
ain't
to
but so big. We
Listen,
ain't
my
packing
kids
this
and
shit up.
has. Listen, shout out to the Rices. Shout out to Linda.
Miss Rice monkey bread.
Yes.
Yo, she used to make that shit for school.
Yo.
Like you come in early at school and she made monkey bread. Niggas would go crazy. Tracy remember that? Niggas would go crazy for a napkin full of that.
Listen.
Love.
Listen.
I used to be making it with her.
I love it.
But that's a, that's
still
a
know how
lot
to do
of-
it?
That's the
I know what it consists of. It's
No,
simple.
no. I said, do you still know how to do it?
Yeah. And I
Okay.
could get her recipe.
That was the answer.
I want
You still deviating.
No, I know what I did.
I'm playing with you, bro.
But I can make, you know how like you used to like iron shit? I
Yeah.
could literally get her recipe and we could play
And
the
you
game.
knock it out.
No, I want Miss Rice to do it.
You see what I'm saying? But you know what's crazy? She stopped baking after a certain point.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, my mom used to bake, and then I got like 12, and baking went out the window. I don't know
Said
what
12?
happened.
I remember the last time I asked her for a monkey bread, she was like, I kind of don't do that no more. And I
She-
was like, don't do it no more.
She
This was the
started making.
flagship.
She started
Right.
making quiches and shit.
This was the thing.
Yeah. I get it though. Like she had years of making that stuff. It was like, let me make some things that I actually like.
And I
haven't
think
tried.
sometimes she baked just to do it with us.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think to a certain extent, it wasn't her favorite part of cooking. It was like, you
I
know,
can respect that.
7-Up cake and monkey bread was her shit. I
7-Up
remember
cake.
that.
I remember
People
the
don't even
7-Up.
know about 7-Up
That's
cake.
the one. That's,
Yeah.
I
I
remember the
do.
7
We just
Up
had
cake.
some of my sisters the other day.
But
I ain't had the monkey bread, but I had the 7
the funniest shit about it is, we supposed to get my mom on here soon.
Yo,
I
that-
wanted to get her when it was still nice out and the patio was set up, and we could have got outside under, her, in her world.
Yeah.
But it's cold now, so I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna make the people wait or if we just gonna figure it out. But she gets mentioned on here so
All the time.
fucking-
I mean, how can she
And,
not?
I mean,
Yeah.
no, that's part of her legacy. That's a testament to how
Correct.
heavy my parents have been in my friends' lives.
Absolutely.
And the people that I have on this platform, no matter how you look at it, are all successful people that they've touched.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? No matter what level we all at.
That's
we
what
are
I know that if I ever
breathing
needed to,
out
I could
here.
call her for anything if I needed to. I know
No,
that for
my
sure.
people pop up on her
Yeah.
and talk to her for 3 hours and don't tell me they went past the house. She
Yeah.
tell me they came by. I'm like, what is y'all talking about? I said, they came to talk to me, not you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She hold it.
Mind your
Yeah.
business.
She'll hold it.
Big
And they be
facts.
telling her real shit. She hold it.
Facts.
But go ahead, you was about to
No,
say
I was just gonna say that's the difference. Like village minded, like
Mm-hmm.
actually having your people's parents be like parents to you,
Yeah.
giving you that same covering, that same rearing.
Shout
that
out
same
to
But your
Cheryl
mom is like that
McIntosh.
too, because your mom knows my dad and my family
Hold
too.
on.
So your mom is like that too.
Shout out to Cheryl McIntosh. Shout out to Renee Brooks.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Renee
all the
Renee
all the
Brooks.
Ivy
We gotta go to Miss Brooks. So hold on.
You don't
Clink,
even
clink.
I don't know who Miss Brooks is.
Clank, clank.
Oh, yeah.
Listen,
I can introduce you tomorrow. One of the greatest women you ever meet in your life, bro.
What?
Like
Real
even
shit.
even when you paid attention to just the village of black women that were banded together to make sure that these kids got
Was
exactly
safe.
what they needed. They was safe. They got the education they needed, and they was fed well.
Yes.
And I'm talking about
Right.
from school moms to dance school moms.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like we all remember Friday nights being at somebody's house every Friday night. That was part of one of these communities. And it was probably pizza night,
Shout out to Shay. Shay was my Friday night.
probably wing night. But we was all there. This was outside of those institutions. Ms. Brooks had a house on Washington Lane,
Lane.
across from the cemetery.
Yep.
So this not a big house.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
They had Halloween, birthday parties, and summer parties in that basement.
Just
And
weekend
the
party.
whole
This a-
school would be in their house.
Yep.
With all the snacks
Windows
upstairs,
sweating.
all the
We in there
adults,
having a
all
good
the
time.
adults is
Yeah,
upstairs.
basement parties.
Sodas, juicy,
Bro,
juicy.
pitch black downstairs, no adults downstairs.
Had a ball.
John, when your homie holding you back, like, yeah, get it done.
Yeah, man. Exactly. The first time, no, for a lot of people, the first time they was at something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like, we
Man,
came
that's
up
lit.
around Dollar Hollers. I lived uptown. So, like, I remember when the street boy lost his pager in the party and shut it down. That was before Miss Brooks. But I wasn't supposed to be there. Age appropriately, they ushered us into that. Like, and that's a whole school worth of, because they had 3 sons that was in 3 different grades.
Correct.
So you talking
Right.
about an experience for a whole generation of kids that went through this lady's basement, who was the vice principal of
At
one
the
of the
school.
schools.
She was the
Yeah.
vice principal. That's what
She
it
sure
was.
was.
Girl, I don't know who you are.
And wound up
Miss
being
Brooks,
the
Miss Brooks. Miss Brooks was
wound
all
up,
that.
wound up
You
being
thorough.
the head of the situation and then left for personal reasons and then
Right.
took over some up. Like, you talking about a dope. When we had, bro, because I love talking about Miss Brooks. My
Yes,
bad.
absolutely.
Y'all got me there. And I'm drinking. But
I've been
we
drinking.
played in the Fathers Club League in Chestnut Hill. They didn't have an all-star game. She organized the all-star game tournament at Ada Lewis. She got food from ShopRite for free. She got, like, Ms. Brooks know how to get donations too.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
If we'd have had an extra week, we'd have had Temple practice shorts.
You know what? So Tracy, I don't know if you got to
Shout out
this.
to black women.
So if you know, on the strength of that,
And she
shout out
had
to black
trophies
women.
this big. I got MVP because I knew
So
I was.
listen, shout
I
out
got
to
in
black
trouble in
women.
school, and I thought I was going to never play basketball game, and I went up and I got MVP one.
Shout
night.
out to
Go ahead.
When Tracy, I don't think Tracy was still in the school, but I believe because Tracy, you AKA, right?
Yeah.
I believe Ms. Wilkinson. I know Ms. Wilkinson is
Ms.
AKA
Wilkinson,
too.
they all AKA.
Well, I don't know if you were there. I'm sorry to point at you.
No.
You missed Ms. Wilkinson.
I did.
But she was also another strong black woman as well, who was the vice principal of the middle school.
And wound
Okay.
up being a principal.
And wind up being a principal.
Okay,
And I just get the same type of vibes from me. She came in after Ms. Brooks left, even though Ms. Brooks was at the other school. It was like right after that. But I got that same vibe from her, and I just want to shout out her as well because
Nah, Ms. Wilkinson was dope.
she was a strong, beautiful black woman as well,
And I still run into Marcella all the time. I see Makeda a little less.
whose children also went to Ivy League too.
Did
So it was so
they
interesting.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, her kids went to
Ivy
Ivy
League.
League.
Ivy League middle
Marcella and Makeda went to Ivy League.
And like the crazy part about all of that was when you looked at the ingredients, it's not hard.
It's
to
not hard.
do. Like it's literally just
But now we're relying on
Caring.
rappers to do it.
no. I'm not claiming that. I'm not.
What happened?
relying
No,
on
I'm
anybody's
saying
rappers.
to build institutions that's focused around teaching our kids the right curriculum.
No, people keep trying to push it on them,
Right.
but it's not their responsibility. at
No,
all.
but that's what I'm saying.
do.
I wasn't saying it like
Yeah.
I'm relying on them.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like when a Puff Daddy does it,
Yeah.
it's looked at as like, oh my God, Diddy did it. Like we went to Ivy League.
Correct.
Yeah.
That shit was around for more than 30
It
years.
was.
Yeah.
It was, and it was one of the only
Like,
black private schools
schools.
on the East Coast
Yes.
that was in that space of elementary,
Middle,
middle.
yep.
And,
I went from pre-kindergarten to 8th
nursery.
grade
Yes, nursery.
in the same school.
Yes.
And what was the rule? You know how people be like, yo, 420 every day for me. Black history was
Every day.
Yeah.
What?
So
Most
my
when I-
understanding when you met me
Listen, I'm about
is
to tell you
based
some
on
shit.
that. You see what I'm saying?
When we went to ENS, right?
Because I went to ENS and Morgan with him.
Listen, when we went to
You was at ENS?
yeah,
I was at ENS.
Mm-hmm.
I'm class of 98.
nah, I graduated in 01.
So you.
01.
He was a
And
freshman.
one. We used to call them and one.
Yeah.
We used to call them and one because it was 2001. We was like, who gives a fuck about and one?
01.
I can't think of who I know from your class, but I think I know a few people from 01. But y'all was freshmen when we was there.
Yeah, you probably do. We was there. We was rocking. You know what I mean?
I fucked with a few of them. I beefed with a couple of them. It was cool.
Oh my God.
We talked about that on the last
Yeah, we talked about that in the last joint.
Okay.
But no, what I was saying was, and I'm just going to keep it funky. Like, I failed American history my first time around because I was beefing with my teacher because the shit didn't make no sense. Everything that they
No,
was
my
saying.
worst class in
He says that all the time.
middle school was American. I didn't
All the time.
I can't go to a school that teaches me Black history, and then you telling me that this is
But
American.
you keep saying
history.
middle school. I feel like in middle school wasn't as bad as it might have been in high school.
Huh? You don't understand. You still had to pass a test based on dates, names, and events
Yeah.
that didn't fucking happen
that
that
you
way.
don't care
And
about.
I can't.
But I don't
excite
remember
myself
American
about
history in middle
memorizing
school as
some
much-
shit
Exactly.
that
But
doesn't
listen,
make
and we went to the
sense.
same
Thank
schools and
you.
same classes. I don't remember American history as much in Ivy League as I do in Central.
Well, see, by the time I got to high school,
I only remember Ivy League.
I was on a whole
I don't
different
remember- you remember in
plateau.
Ivy League American
like,
history?
We was cheating and
No.
shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
I don't
I'm not
remember
just
American
gonna
history
fail
in,
the
high school,
test, I'ma
in
cheat.
Ivy League. That's what I'm saying.
Yo,
That's what I was
forget-
saying.
I see what you're saying. I agree with you. I only remember Black history from Ivy League. I remember American history from ENS.
That's what I'm saying. In
See,
Central.
I remember
the thing
American
was,
history in
You
Ivy
could
League.
not cheat because he was walking up and down the aisle like
You could
on
not
the
cheat.
joint. You know how you do the joint like this. You like damn, like you like I know, damn, like you thinking, but you over here, you looking
No.
over here.
Shout out to
No.
my man. It's two things. Shout out to my man City Lights. He figured out the algorithm.
Shout out to City, yes.
And I'm
He
gonna
was in
explain
Temple.
what an algorithm was in '96.
96.
Remember when the teacher would hand out 4 different tests?
Yeah.
He was doing it at
Oh,
Temple too,
yeah.
because we did the same thing.
This
at Temple.
nigga would figure out who all had
What?
which test and make sure we all was good.
That's
Also,
I don't know how he did it.
no, it was retarded. Like
Like he would be like, no, give
this
her.
is next level
Listen,
shit.
Tracy, we would be in like IH in Temple with like 300 people. He'd be like, no, give her that test. You give her that test. I'm telling you. Like,
We was 14 and he was doing this shit.
so he perfected it by
And-
Temple.
Exactly. And then I live
Shout out to
by
City.
the,
Love you,
I
bro.
live by the as if rule. Right?
As if.
Before I peek over your shoulder for answers, I'll take your answer sheet off your desk, put it on my desk, fill out everything in 15 seconds, and put it back on your desk in front of the teacher. They would never even notice it, but they would notice me doing this.
Absolutely.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
You better hold down to
so
that
like
swipe
we was kind of grown about how we was doing shit. But I still got snatched out of ENS and transferred into Roman.
Yeah.
And they blamed it on
know.
women. That's why I wound up in an all boys
saying that to
campus.
say, like, you know, that was a crazy situation because I wasn't, brought up. My parents had me, super young. You know what I mean? They was 15, 16 years old.
Shout out to your mom, yo.
Yeah,
She done took us back to school on late nights and all type of shit,
I love
man.
it.
Aw.
I love it.
So
Them Baltimore drives.
At that age,
Wow.
you still learning. You still trying
Right,
to figure out
right.
everything. You still trying to figure out who
Correct.
you are.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I wasn't really brought up in a household that was talking about, Black history and all that. They teach you it in school. Oh, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. But
You
it's
get
a
4
lot of
names.
other- yeah, like, so once I really started learning and understanding, and they actually were talking about those types of things, and family members talking about the people that you do need to know. Once I got into that, like I said, it was American history, and everything did not make any sense down to Thanksgiving. You talking about Thanksgiving? Like, what the hell?
Thanksgiving
Y'all came.
wasn't
Mind you,
water.
Thanksgiving was popping till I knew what it was.
Right.
Yeah, but
Thanksgiving
Christopher
wasn't-
Now
Columbus.
it's just food.
You telling me he came over? How did he discover land that's fucking already there? Like it's
That's
there.
my point,
How did
like-
you discover it?
At Ivy
told
League,
me
we
that
wasn't,
1 plus
we
1
wasn't
equals
covering
2.
no pilgrims at Ivy League. That's what I'm saying. We wasn't doing none of that.
But you no.
Yeah.
We was?
Anyway.
Because I don't remember that.
You taught me that 1 plus 1 equals 2, and expect me to understand that.
And no, but want to memorize all this shit, and then you put all this shit on
History
the
is
test
all
that makes,
dates and names.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
history.
like,
I mean, it's
It
supposed to
has
be,
to
though.
be
It's history.
so it should be interesting and it should make sense and it should be true.
I think it's subjective. It definitely should be true. That's the factual
Well,
part.
history is written by the winners.
Right.
Right, we know that. But I
Right.
think it should be true.
Right.
That's my
History's
part.
written by the winners.
The interesting part is subjective. Like, I like history, so, I like shit
Yeah.
like that. So it's subjective about the interest. But it definitely should be factual. I don't want no
based
fake
on,
shit.
like,
Okay?
I'm still the one.
I understand exactly
but
what
hold
you're
on,
saying.
though.
Understand,
I'm still the, I'm the
understand
one.
the history as a whole.
But I'm the one
Because
that
you ain't
runs
knowing where you're
around.
going if you don't know where you come from.
I'm the one
Yeah.
that runs around with the hair and the visible tattoos. I'm militant by nature.
I'm about to say, but you're not though. But you.
I am. Like
you are a little bit.
on this panel, I'm militant by nature. Like I go out my way to make sure people that I don't want to talk to me don't talk to me. You see what I'm saying? So when it
Is that
comes
militant or just an asshole?
no, it might be both. But you know what? No, but for my sanity,
Yeah.
like for what works for me, that's
Yeah.
better for me.
Right.
I've bonded with a 90-year-old, 80-year-old white woman on the elevator because she
Yeah.
liked my jacket that had a bunch of black shit on it.
Yeah.
She saw every woman needs a Barstool on the back and says, "You got a pen so I can sign that?" And you know, on elevators, everybody's awkward. They everybody's frozen. She broke the ice. We only had 5 floors to go.
That was pre-COVID, bro.
Yeah, it was right after.
Because
my
on
surgery.
elevators now, I feel like I hold my breath.
It
I don't
was
know
right-
what everybody
No,
else
but
is
no,
doing.
but
I'm
we was
poking.
doing that before
I'm poking. I'm just
COVID.
poking.
Yes.
Elevator.
You're right.
Elevator brings the insecurity out of people.
Absolutely, it's a closed space.
And
Or some real
people
shit.
not sure and
Confined spaces.
That's what I'm
heights.
saying.
There's all type of things that come into play in elevators
Yeah.
that we don't acknowledge. But we gotta wrap this soon, man. I'm having a ball with y'all.
Yes.
I was just
Having
thinking,
a
I was
ball
like, how
with
long we
y'all,
here?
man.
I'm fine with it, but you know.
No, we gonna kick it and eat some Chick-fil-A and all of that. And,
Yeah.
but I need y'all, cause I don't think we left anything short-ended. Because at the same time, we're not here to sell anything. We're here to share information.
Absolutely.
We're here to provide resources.
Yeah.
I'm here to spotlight people that I know that do dope things in these spaces. So the conversation will continue, and we might do it on camera again.
Okay.
But I'm gonna get you in on the crypto conversation.
Okay.
But I need you and Ray to lay out quite flat. I need no humbleness. Everything that y'all have going on that pertains to the people and how they can get that, because it's important.
Okay.
I'm sure a majority of my audience looks like us.
Yes. Absolutely. So, I mean, I've talked about this. So, one of the things that I'll say is, like I said, I am the vice president of residential sales currently for Mosaic Brokerage.
Currently means leveling up soon.
Right. I picked up on that too.
I was trying to be humble, but you know.
You a boss, be a boss.
Yeah, it's just not inked yet, so I don't, whatever. But
Right.
in that conversation, we are responsible for mitigating the sale process for the Naval Yard, which is about to be 3,000 units coming from 2022 to 2025.
Talk heavy.
Condos, residential sales. It's going to be a hotel down there.
Big
it's going to
business.
be a full little city within a city.
No, that's what the Naval Yard was designed. Never mind. Go ahead.
Correct. That is only one of our projects. We actually have a lot of stuff going on right now in Sharswood with PHA, where we're building senior housing, townhomes, and a few other things over in that area. Without an NDA, I can talk to you about there's probably going to be a few other projects that's happening uptown, as well as some relationships
Well, I
with
love Uptown.
Cheney University.
I love Uptown.
Nice.
Oh, Cheney too?
Shout out to Cheney, okay.
No, them corn. God damn it. Go ahead.
HBCUs.
And you'll see our name and our logo next to some stuff that got to do with the Sixers too.
Talk heavy. Talk
That's
heavy.
heavy.
So I say all of that to say I am a local resource that's village minded, that has real relationships, that if folks need to have a conversation, need to be put on, need help or different things, I can facilitate it. Sometimes because of what I'm doing and how busy I am, I can't touch it personally,
Right.
but I can definitely maneuver as much as I can
Absolutely.
in
Your
those
team-
spaces.
And I
Your
can
team
vouch
is
for that
your
too,
voice.
for myself and also for people that I know. I know personally, personally that she will do that. So absolutely, she's telling the
Absolutely.
truth.
No, but that's why I wanted to have the two of y'all on here. Because, like, I know if y'all look at my first few episodes, I had somebody on that I called my lawyer. He's never represented a case for me. But he's somebody that is heavy in the space. And he's somebody that knows how to talk to people that don't mind me smoking an L next to him. You know what I mean? That at the same time, this is what we doing because we have to build.
Absolutely.
And I knew that y'all were capable of that. Ray was excited about doing this episode, if I could have the privilege of saying that, because we had
I
a
was
crypto
about to
episode.
say
He said it.
Yeah, I said
And
it.
we had a
on-
crypto
off
episode,
camera.
and he's real estate Ray.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when I said Traci, he said real estate Traci, and I said absolutely. You know that's my folking. Like my folking,
Facts. It's the truth.
like I can call Traci and say emergency, and Traci will pick me up out of burning building.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we don't play about our village.
A village.
as she said.
Absolutely.
And I
she
think
said.
it's important to have those conversations because folks may see me, they may have watch me or have conversations, and I
You
may
about to say
look,
what I go through. You about to say
I
what
may
go
look
through.
unapproachable, or I might have on a full-on suit and be having big conversations.
Or like I'm doing business above you.
Right.
When we can still figure it out because I got extra minutes in my day and I know how to fucking manipulate multiple. Talk heavy, Traci.
Yes, all of that. And I say that because I want people to know, because sometimes people see me and they're like, oh, she ain't gonna take my call, or she ain't going da-da-da-da-da. But a lot of times there's a lot of conversations I have and I answer through my DMs, a lot of it through Instagram with Real Estate Traci. I have a link in my bio that literally
I.
allows people, with an I, I'm sorry, yes, Real Estate Traci with an I, but allow people to go into my link tree, and if there's a question or a conversation that can be mitigated and can be put on my calendar, most times I'll talk to you. Or if I can't, or if I see the information and see this ain't something I can handle, somebody else can handle, I'll literally shoot you an email
Absolutely.
like, so-and-so's gonna call you about this because this ain't my
Right.
lane.
And it'll be handled
The same as if she was doing it.
exactly. Right.
Oh, all right.
Oh my God.
Let's go,
I love
Ray.
this guy.
Yeah.
He the
My
coolest.
turn. So first and foremost, yes, I definitely did want to come on this episode. I was on the last John just because you were coming.
I appreciate that.
And I've never met you before. Ruga always talks highly of you. I started following you on IG because of him. He's like, look, you need to follow my peoples. And I'm like, all right, start following. I'm like, oh, she's doing big things. I do learn a lot
Resources.
from you. You've been in
Wow.
it for a minute.
Appreciate
you know,
that.
Access.
Yeah, I've been in it for some years, but nowhere near the amount of time you've been in it.
Okay. Appreciate that though.
Yeah. So with that being said, I'm Real Estate Ray X2 on IG. My main focus is, investment properties. I will help you find a property. I will sell your property. Don't get it wrong.
Oh, that's right.
I also do help people get virtual offices, private office space. And
Talk about it.
Yeah, I do have a consulting company, A1 Done Enterprises. So
Yup.
if you're looking at starting a business, I can help you with that, get you connected with accountants, lawyers, get your LLC, get your business plan straight, help you get funding, all of the above. You just, give me a call. You can go to a1doneenterprises.com and, hit me up. Let me know what you're trying to do and we can figure it out from there.
That
Yeah.
part.
Oh, can I add something really quickly?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Especially the stuff with you with the LLCs in this conversation, because I see this on a lot of social media. Please don't do it. Stop telling people who your LLCs are. Stop posting it on social media. Stop telling people what you're doing. You're aiding into the possibly piercing of your own corporate
Yes.
veil by explaining what you have and what you're holding. So if somebody wants to come take it,
Yeah.
they know where to
Especially
find
somebody with some
It's
more
like
money
when,
can do it
it's
faster
like
than
when
you.
the Beatles talked to Michael Jackson and he bought their catalog.
Yeah.
So basically, what she's saying
Right.
is, if you have LLCs and you have holding companies, you have this, that, and
Hold
the third,
them.
stop
Hold
trying
them
to put
holding
it under
companies.
your bio to let everybody know that you have these businesses, like just so you can
Right.
make it seem like you're doing more than what you're really doing. Like, keep it to yourself.
Or
and
not
really
even more
do
than
it.
what you're doing, or just what you're doing. Just
Right.
keep
Yeah.
it to yourself.
And
Yeah.
if you have a
Everything is for
name,
everybody.
like Sippin with Sammie, and this is my name and my brand that I go over, that's fine. But if you hold things like property, entities,
Yeah.
or other stuff,
Exactly.
stop posting and saying what that
I'm
stuff
glad
is.
you clarified that, but yes.
But it's important because
Yes.
there is an umbrella brand, and then there's the brand where you hold property. Because
Exactly.
I'm rocking in LLC corporations and in discussions in social media with property. And a lot of people get these LLCs and want to buy property and flip them and do different stuff. But somebody
You
slip and
fucking
fall
your
on your
leverage
property,
up.
and you're
Yep.
like, that's not me.
It's
I
not
didn't
some of the
own it. And
leads.
it's like, well, you're
Well, that's the part of doing good
Right
business.
here.
And it's a
The
lot of
fact
ins and
that
outs
if you
with that,
register
too.
your shit the right way, they can't take your house for it.
Right.
But
I mean,
it's a lot.
on the simplest level of.
But they also know
is
what.
that true? I'm saying something wrong.
What? No. I'm listening.
No, that's
right.
why you
But what she's
That's
also
correct.
saying is
That's
like
what
not
business
attaching
is
yourself.
about.
But what she's mentioning is also like not attaching yourself with that.
That.
Like,
Exactly.
They know the
everything ain't for
you.
everybody. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Yep.
because if I got 50 Wingstops and you don't know that they mine,
Right.
But you could also say I love Wingstop. They ain't got no your own
every
shit.
day,
Correct.
every day.
Correct.
I remember going in one of them spots down Atlanta, and Hank Aaron walked in and he owned that bitch. But anyway,
You know what I'm saying?
but no,
My part.
I appreciate all of y'all. Oh, both of y'all, because
Oh.
y'all are guests.
Oh, she
I
don't,
appreciate.
he don't appreciate me.
No,
Just you,
no,
Tracy.
no.
He's
I
like,
appreciate.
you're a staple.
You don't understand. I appreciate y'all for pulling up. I appreciate her for helping me create my dream.
Oh, thank you.
Love.
You see what I'm saying?
Aw.
She made my thing a real thing in the way that I wanted it to be. And we had the conversation
Yeah.
before we got
Oh,
on
no.
air that she got children and all type of
Yeah.
shit. She got a handle to be here for us.
Correct.
So I appreciate you too.
Thank you.
We're
I
not
appreciate
gonna
that.
never do that.
That's what's up.
I'm playing
That's
with
the
you, but
best.
shut up.
That's
Appreciate
Anthony
you.
Martinez
I
Jr.
know.
That's
Who
motherfucking
wanted that?
yeah.
I love
No,
Sam.
But,
that was genuine. Like,
Yeah, no facts.
I never give him like nothing. Like I always come. Like I never be like this is. I love this. Like
No,
it's
I
my
already
passion
know.
and
I
purpose.
mean,
Like
how
no,
do you think I knew who you was when you walked?
I know. I was outside.
Looking for Rugen because I watched this.
And Tracy
Yeah.
said, I thought I was going to see Saf.
I was like, where's that?
But
I
Saf,
watched the show.
the superhero you are, tell them your part.
I appreciate you. So you can definitely check me out with my bro. We got happy hours on lock every Thursday, wherever you can find this podcast. Where you watching it now, check us out next Thursday too. Besides that, you can check us on Fridays with Glock. We're the greatest station in the nation. But you know where to find me. On the Scene magazine, like the best magazine, online, digital magazine, giving you positive information, positive content from education, entertainment, edutainment. And we have a new edition that just came out last week. And by the time you watch this, another one coming out too. OnTheSceneMagazine.com. Holla at me.
Nice.
And I'm going to tell y'all a secret. There will be an article coming out about these two.
How'd
very
you know?
soon. Because I'm a fucking Sammie.
I'm a
And I'm sipping with my bro because he was right.
yeah.
No, but
I'm here for it all.
like I said, man, my appreciation is real. I know everybody thinks that it's always going to be about entertaining with me, but if you paid attention to this platform, it's way bigger than that.
Absolutely. We
You
encompass
know what
so
I
much
mean?
more.
And I want to educate our people. I want to plug the right people with the right people. So anybody that I have on here, the people that I have in front of you, tap in with them. They're willing to give knowledge. They're willing to share information.
Some gems
They're
here, both
willing
of
to
them.
make you money and make money with you.
Absolutely.
And
Sometimes
they're not
free
fake.
game.
I'm vouching for that. And I don't vouch for shit. I'm vouching for that.
Absolutely.
So
We
if
gonna
my
double
coach-
down on that.
If you fuck with us, then fuck with them, and let's figure something out so that it looks beautiful for us in the future.
Absolutely.
This is forever will be and has been Sippin' with Sammie, Sam Malone, Barstool, Rug. If you ain't sipping with Sammie, you ain't sipping right. Get your fucking life together. Real estate shit, and we out.
Crypto.
I swear. Woo! HB
This shit ain't easy.
at all.
This shit ain't easy.
No.
I need food on the table.
Yeah.
I need food on the table.
Yeah.
This shit ain't easy.
Nah.
Believe me,
Oh.
I need food on the table.
I swear.
I need food on the table. Ooh, it's hot.
Hot.
Some are saying better keep your doors locked. Don't hug the block.
Nah. Nah.
Out of time on the sideline where the niggas watch. Yeah, the cops.
Oh.
Tell them don't shoot up the spot.
No.
Ooh, it's hot.
Nah. Nah.
Some are saying better keep your doors locked.
Yeah.
This shit ain't easy.
Yeah.
This shit ain't easy. I need food on the table.
I swear.
I need food on the table.
Yeah.
This shit ain't easy.
Easy.
Believe me, I need food on the table. I need food on the table.
Get it or get low. You can get hit, yo, because somebody saw your trade, wanted just shit, yo. Gotta watch who you with, they wreck chasing, indirect hating, till they can replace them. Ruger from PH, uptown where I'm stationed. HB said, please believe me, you related. Making more than plates, focused on presentation. Summer saying we coming to jam, no more waiting, nah.
This shit ain't easy.
Yeah.
This shit ain't easy. I need food on the table.
I swear.
I need food on the table.
Yeah.
This shit ain't easy.
Easy.
Believe me. I need food on the table. I need food on the table.
I need food on. HB, we draw. Act crazy, we draw. I swear.
Thank you.